They asked me what my favorite comedy was, and I was like, Rush Hour.
Great.
One or two. I love both Rush Hour movies.
Yeah.
It's just to me.
Does 3 not exist?
I just like 3 is dumb. 3 doesn't make sense. We pretend 3 didn't happen. I'm not gonna let them do that to my boys.
This guy gives me shit because I'm a big fan of Home Alone 3.
Oh, that's crazy. I got it. Well, hey man, it's been a great pod, man. It's been a pleasure being here. I really want to say thanks for having me.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of How to Copy and Steal. My name is Chris. Today is a pretty dope episode. I invited someone here who, honestly, I think is next up in regards to like career. He is a comedian, someone that I saw at a gig that I was on, and honestly, I think he had the best set in that session. And we went to another comedy show, and he showed up by surprise and fucking stole the show, low key. Today I am here with Rui Montilla.
Yeah, that's what's up. What an intro. I love that. That was what's up, bro.
Oh.
Hell yeah. I know both shows you're talking about. One of them, I feel real good about that. The other one.
Which one did you feel good about? You didn't like the Josh Nelson one?
No, I loved it, but Josh was filming the special. Saying Josh,
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That's my dog. No, also though, you know what? I will say about that show, real quick. That's the show where the girl passed out.
Yeah.
And Josh had to like restart his whole thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I know you guys filmed 2 different nights. I didn't do I wish I did the first night because I heard the first night was the night.
Yeah.
The second night, I was up there. I had fun.
Right, you did your thing, bro.
That was a good time.
I remember the whole fucking set with the fighting for armrests. Like, you were talking about real shit.
I was doing that. Yeah, I was in my airplane shit at that point. I was in my hacky comedian airplane bag, trying to make hack material seem fun. That was a good time. That was actually a lot of fun. I want that footage, high key. I know my guy Zeke got that footage. Yeah. Trying to get that footage, you know what I'm saying? Couldn't
Zeke
get it.
Behind the camera over here. Shout out to Zeke. If you guys need any video work, go hit him up. That is, there you go, right down there. If I'm pointing the right direction, right down there.
I love that.
And then also on shout outs, you got a YouTube channel. So shout out to Rui. If you want to go check this man out, not only is he doing it, but he's over here documenting while doing it. So I feel like he's next up, and you can be a part of the community. Like, you could hop in and witness the journey from the beginning to where he's gonna eventually be.
Need those subscribers, fam.
For real. I saw your episode yesterday. That was one. I think I was the first like.
Oh hell yeah, bro. Yeah, that was a long ep too. I just had a lot going on last week, so I try to make them as like chronological to the week as I can. Yeah. But I'll take little advice from like my friends who watch it, or like if they feel like, because I care about the viewing part of it, like what makes it easier to watch. Yeah. You know? But
I thought it was entertaining. Like, honestly, I think that like that chronological order to your day, and just like seeing you do your sets, seeing you work on your sets, like even like I don't know how you may feel about it, but like seeing you fine tune the jokes, you get me? Mm-hmm. Like seeing you say something that I've heard you say live, but like in a different way, seeing how it lands, and just like,
that's honestly why I leave it in the vlog. Like, so when I do the vlogs, like I don't want to put everything in it all the time, but like the jokes keep like growing and changing over like the course of a few months to a year. And so I like that if somebody watches it, they could be like, oh, I remember he was kind of doing this way, or I remember when this joke first kind of happened. Yeah. Especially because I don't write traditional. Like, I don't sit down. Like, I have like ideas and I work it out on stage. So then like for me, once I record it and see the set and I put up the clip into the vlog, then I get more ideas and I keep building off of it. So I feel like if you watch it, even if you've seen the joke, you're like, there's a little something different. So I'm glad you noticed that, because in my head, I'm like, I hope they don't feel like I'm just posting the same exact clip just in a different room. This guy doing the same fucking joke every time, bro.
No, I've come to understand that like the art form of being a comedian, on top of just like the sheer fucking cojones it takes to fucking put yourself out there and stand in front of like a group of people that you don't know if they're going to rock with what you have to say. Like, I feel like the reason why I vibe with you so much, especially when it comes to your comedy, is the fact that like I sense an overlap. You get me? Like, we both come from a similar place. Like, I think you're Dominican, I'm Dominican, I'm Dominican and Puerto Rican.
Dominican and Portuguese. I always, my dad's Portuguese. It's a very Rhode Island mix. It's a very, very,
is there a big Portuguese?
There's a big Portuguese population in Rhode Island. Okay. And then the Dominican thing, and my dad he's young and he had game and didn't wear condoms. You know what I'm saying?
That's another thing. We both have some young ass. Like your last set hit me home.
This is like, honestly, I would say this is some of the most excited I've been about like material I'm doing lately. It's just like starting to talk more about family and like my parents, and it's been cool to tell stories and to like play around with like stories that I have from like being young. And it's been some of the more cool shit I've done. I think it's been letting me connect with people who, I don't have kids, so to connect with people who have kids because I'm telling stories about my parents has been cool. It's been like a change of pace. And so I'm like really excited about the new stuff I've been doing, and I'm glad to hear you like it, because like I'm like honestly like I'm not always super pumped or excited about all the stuff I'm working on. I'm like trying to figure it out, but like this new stuff I got, like I've been feeling like the next few months to a year, like it's gonna really come together, and I feel like it's gonna end up being a piece of like what helps me go from being like a guy with a day job to like really doing comedy full time. And I think this new stuff is really gonna push me up that way.
Yeah, nah, I agree, man. Honestly, like you're touching home. Like, can I ask, like, how does it feel doing those types of sets? Like, are you like, how does your family feel about them? You get me? Like, sometimes it could be a little like rocky, and you like out here chasing fame, and everybody out there cutting ties with you until you become that Kevin Hart. Like,
I think for me, it's like, I was talking to my mom about it recently. So my mom's hard of hearing. So like when my mom and my dad will watch the vlog together every week, and like my dad will make sure my mom knows what's going on, or like he'll try to explain her joke. Maybe she's not getting it all the way. And like, you take liberties, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like the core of the story is like so rooted in reality. And then it's like, you get to play around with stuff. So for my mom, it's like, because it's not 100% exactly the way something happened, she's just like, that's not even what happened. I'm like, Ma, like, okay, so look at the base of it and look at everything that she's like, no, that's exactly it. But then you said this. I'm like, Ma, because it's funny. And my dad has to be like, Maggie, he's just being funny. It's just a joke. But I also think for my dad, it's funny because a lot of the stuff right now that he's seeing is stuff that's about my mom. And so as I start talking more about him, like, I feel like he's going to like have his little feelings or whatever. It is funny though, because like I've been doing stuff about my grandmother too, my mom's mom.
I saw one of them that hit me home, and I want to get into deep topics.
Sure. A lot of interesting things about the colorism in our communities.
Bro, it's fucking insane.
It's very interesting. But I've been talking about my grandma, and like I love my abuela. She's like, you know, she's a great person, but she's funny as hell, and like just a lot of things that happen are funny. But my dad, I guess when they were watching a recent vlog, like my dad was laughing really hard at a joke about my grandmother, and my mom got pissed off about it. Like my mom, like the next time I talked to her, my mom's like, "Oh, your father's over here just laughing so hard about my mother." Like, and I keep telling her, "Wait till it's your mother's turn. Wait till it's your mother's turn." Like, and so it's interesting with the family, like, because it's like they're cool with it. There's no issues with it. But I also feel like most people want to be in stuff until they're in it and realize they can't control what you say. People always want to be in your bits. Like people always like, yo, talk about me. I'm funny. Talk about this. Or like, my thing right now is my cousins will hit me and they'll just be like, yo, if you need ideas, if you need stories from back, I'm like, I was there. I don't need your help, bro. Like you do taxes.
Just making sure you got the whole picture, bro. Like there's 3 sides to every story.
My cousins will call me. They'll be like, yo, I don't know if you thought about, what do you mean you don't know if I thought about? Like I'll hit you taxes. You do taxes. I'm gonna ask you about taxes come tax season. You want to talk about funny stuff? You leave me the funny stuff. Relax. Like, but they all want to be a part of it, you know. I will say about my mom that I love, honestly, my mom loves bragging about me.
That's fucking.
And I love that, man. Like my grandma just had her knee replaced, and so everybody's at the crib hanging with her. And my cousins who live in New York, her and her boyfriend, they came down to go see my grandma, and like. Shout out to Alvaro, my cousin's boyfriend. He's a good dude, and he sent me a picture of them hanging out with my grandma yesterday, and I was just like, oh, that's what's up. And he's like, yeah, your mom just got here, and your dad got here. He's like, your mom's telling me you're touring. I was like, my mom is exaggerating. Like, I'm doing spot dates with my friends who tour. I'm doing spot dates. I'm going to Texas to do dates with my friend who is a headliner, and I am going to try to break even on this trip. Like I'm not touring, you know, but my mom describes it as like, oh, like Rui's so busy. He does so many shows. And so I love that my mom is really into it. And she loves going to shows. Like when they were visiting, like they came with me to a show. My mom loves going to shows and being like, oh, like I'm Rui's mom, or, you know, like she's like really into like that part of it. And she feels like I get my funny from her.
Yeah.
And so she's like really into it. Like,
do her and your dad battle like where the funny comes
a little
from?
bit. I think my like off the cuff stuff. I think my personality, how loud I am, comes from my mom. I think sometimes when I'm a little more witty, it definitely maybe comes from my dad. My dad's sense of humor is interesting, and I do credit my dad with like how getting me being more into like comedy. Period. Yeah. But I think like general, natural, funny, pure funny. My mom is way funnier than my dad. Like she don't know why she's funny, but she's like hilarious. Like everybody thinks my mom is funny. My mom's just like a trip. So I'll let her have that. But like the comedy club I started doing stand up at is down the street from my parents' crib, like where they live now.
Shit. That was gonna get into that.
Yeah,
like,
so my mom when she goes for walks in the neighborhood, she goes by the comedy club. So like literally every time I talk to my mom, she never said the comedy club's name is the Comedy Connection. My mom calls that place the Comedy Central. Every time she comes, so like every time she comes, she'll be like, I was walking past the Comedy Central, it was packed, and I'm always just like, thank you, mother, for telling me about a comedian who is very successful, who sold a bunch of tickets. That is not me, while I am here at my day job chilling out. Like so, but yeah, my mom's the homie, man. I love my mom so much. That's one of the things, honestly, like. I love that my parents are young, and I hope that they stay in good health because, like, I hope that all this stuff works because I would love to, like, have my mom, like, be chill, like, and just get to, like, do fun stuff, you know what I mean, and get to like, hang out. That would mean a lot to me. So I'm glad they're cool with it. I'm definitely going to be talking a lot more about my family. I think it's just a space I'm in right now. I want to talk about stuff. I want to talk about more real stuff, and I think it also saves me from, like, being too hacky or like just doing topical stuff. Yeah. Cause it's like, it comes from a real place. So nobody can steal it from me. Cause it's like, it's my family and the themes are going to be similar. Like you said, like there's themes that you relate to, but it's still unique to you. And so that's good versus like, obviously when I'm trying to do airplane stuff, I got to tell stories about stuff that happened on my flight so it to feel, because it's my story.
But it relates, like the whole fighting for show, like it's always like
people going to beef for the middle seat stuff. Like it's still funny, but it's the type of joke where a lot of people have jokes about the middle seat on a plane. Yeah. A lot of people have jokes about when you board on a plane, and the only way you could like change it is by putting your real life story into it and giving it life. And so that's been cool. But my family's been chill, man. I'll give my parents that. I do love that my mom and dad, like my dad he'll hit me, he'll be like, oh, what were you editing? One day you editing the vlog, and I'm like, I'm doing it this night or whatever. He's like, all right, so I'll see it tomorrow. And so like they'll literally like eat breakfast, watch the vlog, and then my dad will like take my mom to work. So like they'll like watch it in the morning. Like so like I really appreciate it. It's funny like when I don't get to talk to them as much as I want sometimes, my dad will like know what my week was like because he watched the vlog or whatever, so he'll like ask me stuff about that. Yeah, man, that's
what I'm starting to see as I'm like putting myself out there and filming stuff. Like those are your first fans. You get me? Like those are the ones that like you know they're first. They're defending you, and other people try to talk shit in the comments.
100%, man. Yeah, my family is. I love my family, man, and my especially my parents. I'm very close with my parents, man. Yeah. And I like. Are you
an only child?
Nah, I have a younger brother. He's like a year and a half younger than me. We're like very opposite. I love my brother Tony. Antonio's my guy. He's the homie. He's an introvert. Like I've always been like an extrovert. My brother's very much an introvert. I think I'm more like my mom. He's more like my dad. He's a gamer. He's just like anime. Like he's into what he's into. Yeah. He's hyper competitive.
His
and
turn's
like
coming up next soon.
Yeah.
Get that ass,
I got some shit for him. Sometimes he I used to do some jokes about him that I don't think he was crazy about it, but he would let me rock and he was cool. So it was good. But yeah, definitely some stuff for sure about my brother eventually for sure. Especially us growing up together and being kids. It's interesting growing up with like somebody so close in age to you. Yeah. And like realizing like all the shit they have to go through. Because I'm the oldest, so like it's only me and him. Yeah. So I don't know what it's like to be a younger brother, but I can imagine how like not fun it is to be an introvert and to be going to school with your brother who's loud and is like not popular but friends with everybody. Like I've never been like the popular kid in my whole life. I always just been like adjacent to like I'm cool with everybody. Like everybody messes with me. Everyone likes to have me around. And so for him to be like a quiet kid who wants to mind his business and like literally the day he gets to high school, it's just like everyone calls him Little Rui. And like we look exactly alike pretty much. He's darker than me. He's a little skinnier. And like in high school, he started growing his hair out, so his hair is like crazy long. Like he's got long hair,
Just to
literally,
differentiate.
just because he's got tired of us having the same barber, the same haircut, and he just got tired of it, so he grew his hair out.
Did he have all your hand-me-downs and shit?
A little bit of that, yeah. Luckily for him, he was skinny and I was fat, so it was tough to do. It's tough to do the hand-me-downs.
Not back in the day when we were swimming and shit.
Back in the day, it was fine because we were all rocking the big joints, but. Yeah, that's my guy. So yeah, I'm not an only child. I love my brother, man. He's my guy. He still lives back in Rhode Island. He lives with the fam. So I'm gonna see everybody soon. I'm going back home in a couple months. So I'm excited to like get back east and like see the family and kick it and stuff. So yeah.
Was comedy always the thing? Was that always the dream?
Nah, I mean, shoot, honestly, man, as a little kid, bro, like if somebody was like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I 100% would have been like, I want to play in the NBA. Like you just say crazy shit. You don't realize you're short and fat and it's not going to happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like I remember one of my,
have like an early growth spurt? Like were you bigger than all your friends?
Nah, never, bro. I just was fat forever. Shaquille O'Neal is my favorite player forever. Like in my head, I think it's because I hoped I would get really tall and I could just dunk on people. And then I found out that wasn't going to happen. And I get tired running around. But I was all right. I hooped a little bit. I liked playing basketball. So when I was a little kid, I always thought like, oh, like I want to play sports. And then I was like, I'll play football. And in my head, it was like sports. I love sports. Like I would say like, literally the thing I do the most outside of thinking about comedy is watching sports. Like all day. Any type of sports, I'm watching. It don't matter if it's soccer, if it's football.
Like you're a Patriots fan.
Man. See, here's the thing. So I'm going to say this to you. So it's funny. Being from New England, I'm not really a fan of any specific, and I think it's because my parents were immigrants, and my dad like didn't really mess with American sports like that to the point where he could put me on. And the teams he liked were random. It was like whoever he liked when he showed up in America. So like he liked the Pittsburgh Steelers kind of, but that's because when he got here in the 70s, the Steelers were good. Yeah. And like he was really into like for whatever reason the Miami Hurricanes football teams in the 80s. So I grew up as a kid loving the U. Like I love Miami. Like I was a Miami fan, right? But I never got into like pro sports. And the Patriots, I'm gonna say this real. The Patriots were not good. Okay? They were bad. They went to a couple Super Bowls and would lose. And then when I was in high school, my freshman year of high school, they won that first Super Bowl with Tom Brady. And you literally, it became top tier annoying shit for the rest of my life. Like you can't tell them nothing. It's been it's been a weird run, bro. Like all the sports. Like when I was a kid, like the Patriots wasn't really good. The Celtics hadn't won since Larry Bird. I'm gonna be real. I don't care what the Bruins are. I don't watch hockey. Like I didn't care, right? And then like baseball, being half Dominican, I should care more about baseball than I do. But like I never cared. But the Red Sox hadn't won in a million years, right? And then when I'm in high school, you're talking about the Patriots get a Super Bowl, the Red Sox break that curse, and literally they start winning everything. And then in 2008, they get Garnett. The Celtics win a chip. You can't. Then we care about the Bruins now. The Bruins win, and you can't like these people who were born it's the wrong, like I grew up knowing they weren't good and I get my friends who are excited, but these new generation New England kids, like these kids who are like 27, 26 and like to them, they were like 6 years old. And since they were 6 years old, they just done nothing but win. They're an annoying group of people. Like you know what I live for? Dead ass is to be on Twitter or X or whatever Elon wants us to call it now. Like being on that when the Celtics fumble the bag is the best, dude. Like whenever LeBron would mess something up for the Celtics, I would literally just go to Twitter and just watch my friends be so mad and be so happy because they're so annoying when they win. Yeah. So I'm not like a big Pats guy or Celtics guy or anything. I get a lot of heat for that. People be mad about me. They be like, you should be a hometown guy, blah, blah. I'm like, whatever. My grandfather, my dad's dad, who's Portuguese, loves the Patriots. Didn't know anything about American sports. When he got to this country,
you're second or first gen?
I'm first gen. So like my dad came to the States when he was 10, and my mom came from DR when she was like 12. Okay. So my dad and his family straight to Rhode Island.
Can I ask a question? Yeah. Does your dad and mom speak perfect English or no?
Nah. No? My mom, not at all. My
dad was like that, but he speaks. If you hear my dad talk on the phone, he'd be like, "Yo, what?" Like,
yeah, my dad, you would not know my dad's an immigrant. Yeah, my dad is like crystal clear, perfect. My dad knows how to code switch. Yeah, like my dad's nice. Like you would think, yeah, my dad is like good. My mom. She like you definitely know English ain't the first language. Yeah. But like she definitely gets off. But when they met though, I don't think they both spoke a lot of English. Yeah. Like they were like, 16, 17, 8, like they were young. Mm-hmm. So like I don't know, they were just communicating off of knowing enough, But Yeah, my dad's dad, the Portuguese, my Portuguese grandfather, my guy, Joe David. That's my dog, man. I call him Grand Pizzle. That's my guy. Grand Pizzle, man. He loves the Patriots, man. And he's always loved the Patriots. Like, he just got to America and was like, oh, they watch this sport. And for him, when he grew up in Portugal, is whatever team is your hometown team, that's the team you cheer for.
Yeah.
So he just got into the Patriots. And so I would watch this dude agonize over the Patriots for years and years and years. And then they start winning, and he's still so negative. They took that dude, like, Brady had to win like 5 Super Bowls before he finally would actually say Brady was nice. Like, my grandfather would literally be talking about how they need to, like, put Brady on the bench. Like, Brady sucks. Like, every time someone happens, he's like, this guy sucks, man. This guy, I'm like, bro, he literally, like, wins Super. Like, he's like, this guy sucks. This is Belichick. Belichick's doing everything. I'm like, bro, what are we talking?
Belichick was low-key doing it until Brady showed that it wasn't that. He was
yeah, he did his thing. So my grandfather loves the Pats. So I always, when they win, I don't get so mad because I know he's going to be so happy. Yeah. So it's just like, I want to be happy for him. But yeah, no, I don't care. Like, honestly, if the Patriots never win another Super Bowl, I'll live.
Yeah.
Like, it'll be like, whatever, bro. So, yeah.
I wonder, like, what made my dad, like, because my dad, he came from DR, like, maybe he was like 7 years old. He's a fucking Cincinnati Reds fan, a Cincinnati Bengals fan.
That's interesting.
Like, what? Why? Just because he likes the logos, though. I guess he likes the tiger and shit. Like, he thought, like, the C thing, his name was Carlos. Like,
that's actually that. Nah, I got homies who are Dominican who love the Braves.
The Braves.
You're really big Atlanta Braves fans. And I heard it was because back in the day, TBS used to play all the Braves games no matter what. It was like the Braves were the team. So when they moved from DR and they wanted to watch baseball, it would always be the Braves on TBS. And so they really got into the Braves. And so I got a couple of homies. Everybody else, I mean, to be honest with you, like, Dominican and Rhode Island, no matter how close you are to Boston, they're all Yankee fans, bro. They're all Yankee fans. Everybody's Yankee fans. Like, it's an interesting.
I feel like I gotta be a Yankee fan just by, like, the fact that I live in the Bronx. But honestly, I just like the logo. Like, I don't know. Baseball is one of those sports.
I be forgetting how you know, like, I be forgetting the Mets exist.
Yeah.
So then when I meet friends who are from Queens and you're like, for real, like, this is serious for you. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm like, okay, bro, my bad, bro. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
It's real for them out there.
Yeah. But when my mom came to the States, so obviously, I feel like every Dominican that comes, you all go through New York. You know what I mean? Like, you have to. So that's where my mom and everybody lived at first. My grandfather, my mom's dad, rest his soul, he was a mechanic. Okay. And so, like, he brought everybody. He came from DR first. He was working, doing the mechanic thing, saved up enough money, got everybody the fake papers, got everybody over. You know, like, my mom, all 5 of her sisters, my grandmother, one of my tias already had a kid. So they bring my cousin over. They bring everybody over. And they're all living, like, in a 1-bedroom, like in a basement or some, you know what I mean? I think they were living in the Bronx, my mom was saying, when they first got here, just thugging it out, like sharing a pack of hot dogs. Like,
they get their asses
bro,
out of there, bro.
As soon as my grandfather got enough bread, they bought a house in Rhode Island, and that's how they got their crib, and they moved. And that's why there's a lot of Dominicans and Puerto Ricans in Rhode Island and Providence, especially because they start in New York, they get enough bread, and you want to get a house, so you move, and you end up in Providence, or sometimes you end up in, like, parts of Connecticut or whatever. Yeah. And that's how my family ended up moving to Providence. I don't know how old my mom was when they moved to Providence, but that was their route. My dad's family, a lot of Portuguese people live in Rhode Island, so they were, like, straight to Rhode Island. It's like parts of Massachusetts and Rhode Island, big Portuguese populations. So that's where they go. That's why my name, like, people mess it up because my name is Rui, and, like, that's not like a Spanish name. I don't understand why your name, but it's a very popular Portuguese, Brazilian name. So it's my dad's first name. I have my dad's first name, but I have my mom's last name.
Dope.
Because they were young, and I don't think they knew if they were going to stay together.
Yeah. So
my mom just, like, I kept the Montilla name, which was a big deal because my mom has no brothers. So there's not a lot of, like, at least from my grandfather down, like, there's other cousins and stuff with the name. But it was, like, a big deal that, like, me and my brother and a couple of my cousins, like, we still have the Montilla name. Yeah. That was, like, a big deal for my grandfather. Yeah, that was, like, a big deal for him. He's a real prideful guy.
Carrying the C forward.
Yeah, man. So he was that was an interesting thing. But yeah, my mom named me after my dad in spite of him though. I do like that story. That's a fun story. They were beefing, like, they weren't getting along and stuff. And so, like, my dad didn't even know I was born until, like, 2 days after.
Oh shit.
Yeah, my mom had me at the hospital, and my dad didn't want me named after him for whatever reason. He just wasn't into, like, so my mom named me Rui after my dad. She made my middle name Junior for no I'm not a junior technically because I don't have my dad's last name, and then I got the Montilla last name. So that's why I got my dad's first, my mom's last, you know. And, like, I never wanted to change it. because they obviously stayed together. My parents never got married, but
Yeah.
they've been together forever.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, oh, you never took your dad's last name. I was like, because I've had this name my whole life. Like,
Yeah.
I love my dad's family. Like, I'm connected to them and I love them. But like, I have my mom's last name and I think it's a cool last name and I like it. You know, so I was never gonna change it. Yeah. My dad was never gonna be like, time to change your name.
Call you Montilla.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, when I was growing up, I used to say it like that a lot. It wasn't until like I had this one teacher in middle school who was like real mad at the way I said it once. He got real bent out of shape. He was more mad about how I said my last name than the fact that I was late as shit to school. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, bro, I'm failing all my classes. You should be more worried about the fact that I'm about to stay back in the 7th grade. Like, maybe stop letting me hang with drug dealers. You know what I mean? Like, maybe stop worrying about how I say, you know, how I don't make these 2 L's a Y. Maybe let's figure out why I'm failing. You know what I mean? Like, how about we do that? Like, yeah, he was on my ass though. He was like, Montilla. I was like, bro, just sign the paper, bro. I'm just trying to go to school after 10:30 in the morning when I'm supposed to be here at 8. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. But yeah, I definitely get that Montilla. People mess my name up. I'm talking about almost every other show. I don't even care at this point. People be I'm like, bro, do I get my time on stage or not? I'll say my name right at the end. Like, I don't care if you mess my, like, whatever. Yeah. But people will get crazy with it, bro. Like, I get brought up as Rui Montilla all the time. I got a dude who I know, bro. Mike Freeman, you know me, bro. Like I love Mike. Mike's my guy. He's my dude. He's about to move to New York. He's gonna be a very successful comedian. But he knows me in real life. And that dude, every time he hosts a show, he bring me up. He just make it loud for my buddy, Rui Montoya. And I just go up there and I'm just like, you know, I'm gonna let you have this one, my boy. But yeah, he gets my name wrong every time. People call me Raul. They'll just change my whole first name.
Dang.
I get that a lot. Ruiz.
Shit.
Rudy was always, I got that a lot. A lot of people would say Rudy.
That.
Yeah, the Rudy thing, people would do that. But yeah, man, I like my name. I like it. It is also a popular.
Would you ever like switch it up and do like a comedian name?
I thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Originally, I have a couple of friends who have stage names.
Yeah.
And I'm a big Jamie Foxx fan. Okay. So when I found out that Fox, like, I was like, that's not his real name. Like, I was like, first of all, like, duh, stupid. Like, that's a crazy name. Like, who's having a kid be like, Jamie Foxx, 2 F's. You know what I mean? Like, who's doing that? I didn't know that. So I did think about having a stage name. And it's funny. I wanted to change I don't think I've ever said this out loud before. Maybe only in NBA 2K when I make my player. Fucking, I would have changed my name. I would have had it be my dad's last name is David.
Okay.
And so I would have made David my first name. I wanted my stage name to be David Ruiz.
Okay.
Because it still sounds Latin. So no one's going to ask if I'm like Latino or not because my last name's Ruiz. It'll be fine. And then I would get the David off, which was my dad's last name. Also in NBA 2K, there's not a lot of Montillas. So they're not going to say your name when you get the ball. But they say Ruiz when you dunk that shit. You know what I mean? When you make a my player who's 6'8" with tattoos, you know what I mean? It looks like a Dominican LeBron.
So
that dude,
you always go taller?
Fuck out of here. If you go on NBA 2K and you make your my player your real height, you're a fucking bozo. Knock it off. What you do? Your little 5'7" ass was not making no goddamn NBA. Like, it was not happening. Shit. At least, like, you know, play around with the heights. But, bro, come on, man. Nah, hell no. That's not what that video game's for. That dude don't even need to look like you, bro. Who cares, bro? Get dreads, whatever, dude. Come on, bro. Make your dude look like Burna Boy. I don't care. Like, what do I like? Whatever, bro. But yeah, nah, that shit is. Yeah, so yeah, David Ruiz. I was thinking about a stage name at one point. People really do the stage names. I'll meet comedians in San Diego and not know they have a stage name forever. Yeah. I used to work with a dude at the Comedy Store. I won't even say his name, but like I thought that was his real name. Like the name he goes by, the name we bring him up on stage. I thought that was his name. And then one time we were doing something with our account. I think we had to like cash out or something from one of the registers. And I was looking for my name. Yeah. And I kept passing this one name. And I'm like, yo, who's this dude? And then literally somebody goes, oh, that's so-and-so. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, that's his real name. I'm like, who's looking for him?
Was it a good stage name at least?
It's all right.
No. You don't got to kill him.
He be playing around a lot, man. He knows who he is. He knows who he is. He always trying to mess with my vlog whenever I'm at the show. I'd be at the Comedy Store trying to film. And he don't understand that he's just B-roll. You know what I mean? So like he just be trying to put up middle fingers and like mess up my shots. I'm like, you're not messing up my shots, bro. Like I'm just not gonna use this. I don't need you, bro. As long as you don't put like now, if you put your face in my way when I'm trying to film my set, which he might. I mean, he's that gets annoying. But yeah, but I didn't know he had a stage name, so I had to figure that out. And But yeah, the stage name thing is, I think it makes sense for some people. I think it's tough because then that's your name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I remember, because Kevin Hart used to go by Lil Kev the Bastard.
Yeah. I remember that.
That was like a whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know if Hart is his real. I think it's his real last name. I don't even know if it is.
I don't think so.
I don't even know. I just know he used to go by a whole different, like. So I don't know. I'm cool. I like having my real name. I think it's chill. And also, like, if I ever make it, man, it'd just be cool for like all the people who like. I always think about that. Like, if somebody gets famous and they have your name, like, you just get to wonder, like, yo, are we cousins? Like, are we related? Like, and I would love to have that happen someday for me, where like somebody gets to be like, yo, I know this guy. Like, like, you know what I mean? Like, in addition to all my cousins who will want actual money from me. I
feel like we might have like got sidetracked from the original question of like, was comedy the original goal from the beginning?
Nah. I think when comedy, like when I wanted to start, all right, so.
You said you wanted to be like a
I thought I wanted to be an athlete. I thought I really wanted to play sports. I really wanted to play sports, of course. Now, good job bringing put that shit back. That's high quality training right there. You feel me? That's self-trained, but like, not like, I think, I'll say I wanted to be, and I realized this later, I think, like, so the idea of being an athlete, then what I realized was that I wanted to be an entertainer. Yeah. And that's what I figured out later. Like, was there
something specific that inspired that? Was it your like?
I think I just like being the center of attention a lot of times. Okay. In certain rooms, I like making people have a good time. Yeah. I like people to like feel comfortable.
Were you that guy in your family? Like, were you that like
in my nuclear family for sure? Like I would say like in the bigger, especially on my Dominican side, it's tough because so many Dominicans are so loud, bro. I try to explain this to Mexicans, bro. Like, I'll be out here, I'll be trying to tell them, they be like, we're all loud. I'm like, no, Latinos, we're all loud, but like the Dominican is a different. Bro, it's a different frequency.
I would visit my dad like every other weekend. I'd be like, yo, why are they screaming? Like, why are they arguing? And he's like, they just talking like.
And then I don't realize that I'm loud like that. So then I'll start getting loud and I'll have friends be like, Rui, why are you yelling? I'm like, I'm not yelling. I'm explaining something to you and you're fucking stupid. Like that's not like you're an idiot. That like that part too, you're fucking dumb. But like otherwise, like so loud. So with my cousins and stuff, especially my older cousins, now I think they try to give me space because they go like, oh, this guy's like a whole comedian. But to them, they're still funnier than me. They're more whatever. So in those bigger groups, I never got to fully, I think, do it. But with my like, say like my dad's family and like in my own household, like holidays and stuff, I like am like the life of the hot. Like if it's Christmas and I'm not at the crib, it don't feel the same. Yeah. If it's Thanksgiving and I'm not home, like especially when I first moved to Cali, like when I moved out here.
Which was when? When did you move out?
2016. Okay. Yeah, 2016 was when I moved out here. And like, I think I would start missing holidays where I never used to miss anything. I was always home for everything. And I think that's when you start realizing it's different. Like my brother who I talked about, who's a big introvert, he'd hit me up and be like, it kind of wasn't the same, bro. Like you weren't around like cracking jokes and like making everybody, being goofy, like I'm the type of person I get the family dinner. Like I want to see like, can I make someone spit food out? Can I make somebody choke on something? You know what I mean? Can I make this like a whole, like you're not supposed to be laughing at something. Can I make you laugh at it? Like, I really love doing that. Yeah. I like holding court. Yeah. And I was like that in school too. Like I like, being like around and like talking shit and hanging out. And like, I think I always liked it. I will say like I had the idea that I wanted to do stand up or acting or something like that. Probably by the time I was like 13, 14, like by that point, somewhere in middle school, going into high school, I think by that point I realized like that I would love to do that. It was just how would that take form as entertainment? I didn't know, because I realized pretty quick, like, okay, bro, you're not going to the NFL, you're not going to the NBA. That's not happening, bro. Yeah. You're not. You play soccer. You're okay at goalkeeper, but you're short, and you need to be tall to like jump around this whole big ass goal. Like it's not gonna happen, bro. And so I started realizing like, okay, well, what else can I do? And then I got really into the idea of like being a sports broadcaster. Okay. There used to be this show on ESPN called Dream Job, where like you would be like you were like in a competition show to be like the next Sports Center anchor. Okay. And I used to watch that. I used to watch that show and be like, I'm gonna do this. Like I want to be Stuart Scott. Because to me those dudes were like they loved sports, but they were funny and they made jokes. Yeah. So they weren't stiff, but they got to wear suits, which looked cool. So like I was into that a little bit. The idea of that, and then stand up was just there. Like I fell in love with stand up. I think it's my dad. My dad. So we started letting me watch a lot of stuff I probably shouldn't have been watching when I was like 11, 12, you know what I mean? Like I'm watching, you know what I mean? I'm watching Chappelle's specials. I'm watching I'm watching old Eddie Murphy specials. Like, so I think that started to click. And by the time I was in college, I wanted to do it, but I didn't know how to start. And I grew up in a small place where, like, I think if I grew up like in New York or Chicago or LA, like, I think the idea of entertainment would have felt more reachable.
Yeah.
And so to me, I was like, nobody here does this. People who are famous, they come here, they stop here, they do funny things.
Yeah. They
go to comedy clubs, they make jokes, and we get to laugh at them because they're from somewhere that people do things.
Yeah.
And I'm from Rhode Island, and we're here, you know? And then I started realizing, like, oh no, you can just, there's no rules to starting. But I didn't actually start stand-up until I was like 27. I was done. Like I got my bachelor's, I got my master's. Like,
what did you get your bachelor's in?
Communications.
Okay, so there's something there.
Yeah, that was the thing. When I got to college, bro, I was a sociology major.
Okay.
And I didn't know why. It just sounded smart.
Yeah.
And then like I joined my freshman year, I joined the radio station at my college. And I had this one professor, Jason Blank. That was my guy, man. And he was like my college 101 professor, but he was the head of the sociology department. And we were talking once, and I was like, Jason, I think I want to change my major, but I don't know to what. He's like, well, why do you want to change from sociology? I was like, I'm going to be honest. I don't know what it was. It sounded smart. And then I went to class, and I'm going to be honest, like, it's boring.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do this. And he was like, well, what do you like? And I started talking to him, and I was like, well, oh, I work at the radio station. He's like, we ever thought about mass media, like communications? Maybe you can get into like broadcasting or whatever. And I was like, yeah, that sounds kind of cool. So I switched my major my freshman year to mass media, and I worked at the radio station the whole time I went to school. And I just like did that. And in my head, I was going to do radio.
Yeah.
I always ended up back at like, oh, I'm going to do some form of entertainment. And then I think by the end of college, the recession happened in like 08, 09, I was getting out in 2010.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, bro, the radio's dead. Shit's over, bro. Like, they're making me work a million jobs, syndication, bro. Like, keep going to school. And at the time, I was an RA because I was trying to like have free housing, and I didn't want to go live at home. So like I got the RA job, and I was doing that. And then I started getting the press from like my supervisors, like, yo, you ever thought about getting your master's? Like, you could work in higher education. And I was like, I want to be some stiff, bro. And they were like, you still could be yourself. And then they were like, well, what's your major? I'm like, communications. And I had a mentor who was like, all the stuff you like about communications, you could do it still. Like, he's like, what do you like? Oh, you like talking in front of groups of people. You're going to be doing trainings all the time. Yeah. You're going to have to like you're going to always be communicating with people. You're going to be around people all the time. And he kind of sold me on the idea of like going to get my master's. And I went and got my master's in human development and family studies. And it was cool. And I was like real focused for 2 years and got my master's. But the whole time I was getting my master's, I kept trying to figure out, how do I get a radio show again? How do I, you know what I mean? Podcasts weren't a thing yet. So like, I was like, how do I do this? You know, the radio shit was real. Like, I was into radio enough to like, I convinced my boys at a different university to get a college radio show so that I could go do radio with them. And they ended up being way better. Like, had my boy, shout out to Francis and Steven, those are my guys, and their radio station wouldn't close for the break in the summer. Yeah. So what I would do is my school would close down fully. So the radio station would be dead air in the summer, but they would stay open. So I got them to get the show. And then when the summer came, I was like, I bet I'm riding with y'all up to your school. I'm going to do your show with you guys in the summer. So in the summer, I would be the third person on their team. And we had 3-hour show. Like, one of us would play one would play like a lot of like hip hop, like hard rap. Yeah. I would play like R&B and like some like radio hip hop, and then one of my homies would play straight reggaeton the whole rest of the thing, and we would just break up the 3 hours, and we just used to have a ball, dude. But I convinced them to get a radio show.
Read out the commercials.
Yeah, man, we had to do all that stuff, bro. Read out commercials. Make sure we weren't playing stuff with like swears in it. Shit, like, a little bit. We would play around. We used to take calls and stuff. Yeah. We used to get pretty funny with it.
But you used to do prank calls and shit? Like
not so much prank calls.
Did you ever watch fucking Hot 97s?
Listen
to the fucking
I've heard. Yeah, different
shit. Have people fucking violating themselves at work, screaming into the phone.
It's funny because I feel like all the hip hop and urban stations that existed, right? Like even whatever we had in Rhode Island, which used to be called like Kicks 106, and then it became Hot 106, and it only became Hot 106 because everybody was hot everything because Hot 97 was so famous. So everybody who had a hip hop thing or urban in any way, they wanted it to be like Hot 97. Yeah. So like everyone started biting anything that was happening in New York. And that's what I realized when I was young. And I say this to people when they be like, you're from Providence. I'm like, because there's so many Dominicans, so many Puerto Ricans, I never felt like I was like so tied to Boston and the culture of Boston. Like I get that we a lot of us got the accent and yada yada yada, but like
that's just hard out there too.
Oh, it's
that
very aggressive.
Hard,
Massachusetts is different. Providence, Rhode Island is different because so many Dominicans, so many Puerto Ricans, and like just so many black people, and a lot of people got ties back to New York. Yeah. So whatever was cool in the city would blend over to us, style, language, all of that.
I had the Hot 97 mixtapes. Me and Priscilla would talk about this.
Bro, like people would bootleg all kinds of shit and it would get down to us. Mm-hmm. Like that was the vibe. Like anything I ever, and I know this, anything I ever started to say, lingo, phrases, anything, I knew it came from New York. At my school, when I was coming up, middle school, elementary, high school, whatever, if you were a new kid and you were coming from New York, you were stamped, bro. You were already cool. Even if you was the biggest cornball that ever lived at your school where you were from, you came to my school, bro. You're from New York. Bro, I remember one of my best friends in ninth grade. His name was Jonathan Vega. That's this dude, a whole ass father now. Yeah. Crazy. Cannot believe that dude's a dad. Bro, when he came to my high school, bro, my freshman year, all he had to do was say he was from New York. I don't even know when the last time he really lived in New York was, if I'm being totally honest. I know he had a lot of family there for sure. But, bro, he came to my school and, like, ran my class because literally he was from New York.
Wow.
I'm like, okay. That's like, his Tims are more Tims because he's for, like, what? What are we talking about, bro? Like, we bought these at the same outlet, bro. Like, what are we talking about? Like, yo, man.
He didn't take the stickers off his fitted caps.
Listen, man. Nah, you couldn't. Nah, you couldn't. But, yeah, everything I would say, I would be like, why do I say that? I'm like, because somebody from New York. And that's why I realized I was still doing that even as an adult, bro. Yeah. Like, my first job I had out of grad school, I worked at a university, and two of my RAs, they should have probably never, well, one of them never should have been an RA. That's my dog, my boy Devontae. He's from Brooklyn. When he got there, his twin brother played on the football team. Shout out to Dewan. Honestly, the twins are my guys. Also, crazy good educators. Like they both got doctorates now. They both run like charter schools in New York. They're like principals and fucking like they great basketball coaches. It's amazing. But when I met them, they did not want them at that private school. I'll tell you that right now. They did not want them at that school. But literally, I never said the word violated. I never said that until I met this kid Devontae. This is like 2012. And literally every time something would happen, he would come to me, boss, they're trying to violate me, bro. They're trying to violate. I'm like, what's happening? What are you talking about? And bro, when I tell you, every time he would say some shit, I'm like, I'm gonna start saying that shit. That shit just sounds way better than whatever I'm saying right now. Like New York is like, yeah, man, nah, I got a lot of respect. Honestly, I only did the podcast because you said you was from New York. That's really the only reason. I'm just trying to get cool points over here. I know another guy from the city. Watch out. That's it. Man. But yeah, man. I think I knew I wanted to do it, bro. I met in college. We had this a night at the Apollo thing, and I didn't go do nothing, but we had like a guy come out, Sandman, pull you off the stage if you get booed off. Okay. And to have a host that night, the organization that was putting it together. They had one of the Plastic Cup Boys, one of Kevin Hart's guys. They had Spank there. So Spank, he hosted it, and he basically came to our college and was like, this fake ass school y'all go to. Like, and I went up to him afterwards because I knew he was like one of Kevin Hart's guys or whatever, and I seen him on Comic View. And I was like, yo, Spank, like I want to do stand-up, bro. Like, what should I do? And he goes, don't drop out of school. You do stand-up at night. And I was like, okay. And that was the only advice he gave me. So
that's real.
So I just kept going to school, but never figured out how to do stand-up at night. And then, yeah, I got out. I got my master's. I was done. And then I just I kept trying to figure out. I'll go to the comedy club. I'll go to the Comedy Connection to watch shows. And then I found out they had a class. Yeah. And that was how I started. I took a class, 7 weeks.
The comedy class?
Yeah, I took a stand-up comedy class, which was funny because a lot of stand-up comedians tell you, never do that. Yeah, don't take a class.
Like some shit that's just
people tell you that all the time.
Come out with knock jokes and
shit. I think if you don't have any talent, it probably doesn't help you because you just end up coming across like corny and hacky and you know. But I think if you have any shred of skill, like if you're already kind of funny, it could at least get you started. Yeah. The rest is on you. Yeah. You know, I took the class literally the first day of the class. One of the guys who was a teacher, who's still one of my boys to this day, Brian, he was like, I just want to know from everybody, what's the reason you're in the class? Like, why are you here? Do you believe you're going to be one of the best comedians ever? You're going to blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And literally in my class, the first day, I was like, oh, it's a bucket list thing. Yeah. I was like, I don't want to get old and feel like I could do this. Because I would go to shows. And I would literally be like, oh, I could do this. Like, I was saying it off camera. I was saying, like, everybody thinks they could do comedy. Yeah. I know that because I used to think the same shit. Yeah. I would be at shows like, this guy sucks.
Yeah. Can I ask, was it like a natural like pickup for you, or were you like, did you get up there and you were like, oh shit, like
I felt pretty comfortable pretty quick. I mean, in high school I did theater.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really, but to be honest, it don't really help you. Like,
bro, you can see how your life has been a stepping stone to.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do. Yeah, I've been wanting to do it. I want to be in front of people. Theater is just weird because theater, like the acting shit is like. The thespians is different, man. Like because they just, you know what I mean? They give you the script, they start telling you stuff to do. And you're kind of like, I wouldn't really do this shit. I wouldn't even say this like this, but it's like I gotta read. You know what I mean? I gotta read this Shakespeare. I gotta do this monologue. You know what I mean? Like, gotta really crush this sonnet real quick. Like, ugh. Yeah.
Can I ask, do you like do any like auditions for like movies out here?
Nah, like nothing yet. But I want to get into. I definitely think that's gonna be one of my steps in the next couple of years. Is gonna be trying to get into more acting, commercial acting, and doing like auditions. Shout out to my aunt. My aunt, she's got remarried, and her new husband, I'm gonna be honest, I'll say this on the pod, I like him way better than the first one. And he's just a cooler guy. Like, yeah, I like that the first husband gave me my cousins. Like, I like that they had kids, and I like my cousins. They're all great. I mean, like they got a lot of my aunt in them, which is good. But like I really like the new guy. This new guy, and he's a good dude, and he actually works with an agency in LA. Okay. And so he's been kind of like, I think once he realized I actually was good at comedy, I think like recently I did a show with them up in LA.
He wasn't taking you serious.
Yeah, and I think he was taking me serious. I think he was just trying to figure it out, and then he saw me perform a longer set, and I think he realized like, oh, this guy's kind of nice. Like, so like ever since then he'll hit me. So like every now and again he'll jump in my Facebook like comments and be like, you got to get you signed to the agency. And I'm like halfway joking, but I'm like, bro, if you're gonna get me some commercials, like at some point, yes, I need to. So I would like to do. I think I could do acting.
Brands in mind that you like, you could do a good commercial for.
Man,
let's start manifesting this shit, my guy.
I don't know, damn. I'm trying to think. Like, honestly, you know what? I feel like a lot of the food chains got funny commercials, and I wouldn't be opposed to like being in some kind of like Taco Bell commercial or something silly, something fun. I think could be a good time. But
change your life, but like it's crazy. AT&T girl, my guy.
I mean, listen, man. That's tough. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if Jake from State Farm ever want to get up out of here and let us put some adobo in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, switch it up. Jaime from State Farm. Let's come switch it up, my boy. But I would be down, man. But some of my boys who I know who've done commercials, they just end up in stuff, and it's just a good way for them to get their foot in the door for stuff. Yeah. Like, I knew a comic who he did like it was an NFL commercial. It was about jerseys. Yeah. And like he's a bigger guy, and like the whole commercial was just him like putting on a jersey that really didn't fit, and it was funny. But like also, that's a credit, and he got paid for it, and it's good. So I would be definitely down to do some acting. But the theater, I did the theater thing in high school, and so I kind of felt like I'm not scared to be in front of people. And so when I did my first class, we had to just get up on stage and do 3 minutes, no preparation, just go on stage and just talk. And then the second class, when we went back, it was like, hey, come back with what you think is 5 minutes. Yeah. And the first class I went back to, I think we were supposed to have till week 4 or 5 to stop reading off of notes. The first class I went back, I had no notes. Like, I never went on stage with like, oh, notes. Like, I had like, okay, these are the jokes I think I'm going to try to do. Yeah. And we used to have 3 different teachers. And so some weeks, some of them, they weren't always all there. Yeah. So the second week, there was a new guy there, Derek, who's still one of my boys. And I got off stage and he was like, have you already done this before? Yeah. And I was like, nah. He was like, you've never done open mics? Nothing. I'm like, nah. Just up in my head. I thought about it a lot. He's like, yeah. And then he started pushing me to be like, yo, try more stuff. And that was good because then the next week I came back and I was mad confident. I was mad cocky because like everybody else in the class was reading off the shit. Like, and I'm over here like, I don't need no notes. Bunch of clones. First time I ever got on stage, bro, I grabbed the mic. I'm already doing the comedy connection. What's up? How we feeling? And my teacher's like, the fuck are you doing, bro? It's like, this is an empty room. Why are you saying, yo, what are we, you know what I mean? And then like, because it was literally like, it was an empty comedy club. It was the people in the class, the instructors, and then the people who managed the club, or the bartenders who were getting ready for like the weekend shows. Okay. So like that's how you knew if you were funny, was like you would get a laugh from like a random bartender walking by. You're like, oh hell yeah, I got it. Yeah. But I thought I was the shit. And the third week I went back and I was trying to be like animated and doing extra shit. And then that was the first class that our third professor, Ray, showed up. Yeah. And Ray, he literally looked me in the face and was like, yo, you're doing an impression of what you think a comedian is. And I was like, damn, he just told me I'm a phony. And it was on my birthday, no less, bro. Damn. When I tell you I went home, like I remember I was like, I'm gonna quit, bro. I think I'm done. Damn. So yeah, I got humbled quick. But that class really helped me, bro. Like honestly, like that class, because it gave me a starting point.
Yeah.
You know, like it gave me 5 minutes of material. It gave me my first ever performance in front of people. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like a good opportunity. But people hate those classes though.
Yeah.
Like comedians be like, don't ever take a comedy class. You got to go to open mics and grind and cut your teeth. Like it's like, bro, shut up, bro. Nah, man. You could do a lot of things a lot of ways.
It's dope, like how just like I don't know, like hearing you talk about your life story and seeing how like again like the stepping stones have led you to where you are now, and just like like it is those life experiences that set you apart. Like fucking this man, like when we went to go see him at a set the other day, fucking which horrible fucking I thought it was cool like when I walked in terms of like, oh, it's outside comedy and all that shit, until you realize that you're fighting with every other sound out there. Fucking homeless people, car alarms, and there was a part where a car alarm went off in the middle of your set.
Yeah.
And bro, you handled it so fucking gracefully. And you involved it into your set. You're like, that's my aunt right there. Like, she's like, why are you talking shit? Like,
yeah, I remember I threw that in there.
And you just fucking bounced with it. And you were ready to keep going with it. Yeah. And then it stopped. And you was like, okay, well, like, cool, back shows back on. That happened to someone, I don't know if it was before or after him, and they fucking crumbled. Like, and honestly, like,
the elements, I think part of that is like, one is just faking it.
Yeah.
Like, inside you're like inside the whole time I'm going.
Have you ever had a breakdown on stage?
Nah, I've always been able to get through and just finish. Like, I never done I can't finish. I walk off stage and stay on till your time is up.
Yeah.
Figure it out. You don't walk off. Like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. But I never like froze up. But inside, bro, I'll be like, why is this car alarm going off? This thing's gonna ruin my set. Like, can they even hear me? Like, you start but then you just gotta go. Like, I think that's where the natural stuff comes in. Mm-hmm. And that's where you can see who's good at like writing and reading what they wrote and performing their act.
Yeah.
And then you get the people who are cut from a certain background and claw. Like for me, I go, okay, so the car alarm's going off, whatever. How do I incorporate this into like make people feel like I'm chill, bro? I'm so calm, bro.
Yeah.
And I'm calm. You got to be calm. Like, why would you be uncomfortable? I'm the one up here. I'm calm. We're calm. Yeah. We're good.
Yeah.
And you got to have that energy. But that comes from being in a cafeteria, making jokes, clowning with your friends. Some, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Some shit happens. And like either you crumble and look crazy, or you use whatever you could use to comfort, like to fight back. Yeah. You have to fight the elements. Like you have to be like equipped. I think that's part of the thing that's good is like when people be so bent out of shape when their kids are fat or like what. Like, let your kid be fat. Let your kid get made fun of.
Yeah.
Like let him learn. Let him learn other stuff. You know who don't learn anything and don't have personalities? Dudes who've been cute their whole life. Tall guys and cute guys. They don't never got to do nothing. They don't never got to do nothing. They don't have to have a personality. They don't have to be interesting. Dry as fuck, bro. And that's why they always got a fat or ugly friend with them, because that person is the one who's saving the day. When this clown don't got nothing cool to say, you know what I mean? Besides, hey girl, what's good? You know what I mean? And who's gonna entertain her ugly friends? It ain't gonna be you. You don't even care about the cute girl. Never mind the ugly girl. And you gotta sit there and watch this loser. Come on, man. Like, so let your kids be funny looking. Let them be a little goofy. Yeah. Let them get tough skin and put them in public school, man. Let them learn some shit. That's for me. I just know too many times you say something crazy or something wrong and somebody's about to clown you. Mm-hmm. You got to fight back. But you also know what it's like to lose. Yeah. Because you don't always it's not always funny. Mm-hmm. And so you just I find that some people, they crumble in those situations because they're scared of failure. Mm-hmm. They're scared to say something that's not going to hit.
Yeah.
And I'm so past the idea of like in any setting.
Yeah.
On this pod today, when I'm at my day job, when I'm on stage, if I say something and it's not funny and it doesn't land, I'm just going to say something else. Eventually, it will be funny.
Yeah. You
will laugh and you will forget that what I said before was not funny.
Yeah.
Because that will be in the night. That'll pass by. You will not remember that. You will only remember the part that I was good.
Yeah.
Same thing with those shows, right? Like I'll say this. I've watched that set from the night you're talking about.
Yeah.
Here's what I know about that night. From my point of view.
Okay.
Y'all go, damn, he did a good job that night. I'm watching my set going, Rui, if you don't stop saying, you know what I mean? if you don't say, nah, I'm saying, 500 times less, you moron, while you waste space for what, because you just putting filler in, because you don't say but you say fuck for no reason, and you say, like, that's what I'm seeing. So while you're going, oh man, but people, and I realize this, other comedians pick up on it sometimes. If it's really annoying, you might catch it as an audience member, but more times than not, whatever was the good part, if that outweighs whatever wasn't good, people will remember that, and they will latch onto that, and it'll be like, they'll be cool. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's just, you just got to roll with it. But some people get so scared that when it goes bad, they go, oh, now they know I'm a fraud. Mm-hmm. They know I'm not funny. They know this, and you get in your head, and you just crumble. But that's the difference. That's why stand-up is funny to me, because not everybody who does stand-up is naturally funny. Yeah. They're not. Sometimes the only place they're really funny is on stage. Yeah. That's the only place they're comfortable. They're just not good. You know what I mean? Like, they can't. Like, for me, I'm like, I know I can be cool and funny with any type of people. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't matter your race. Doesn't matter if you're old.
I love
doesn't
that,
matter
bro.
if
like,
you're young.
Your skits, like,
if you're a woman, if you're a man, if you're trans, whatever. We're good. Straight, gay, bi, pan. I don't care. We can connect on something. Mm-hmm. We can connect on something. I don't need it to be a certain type of audience or a certain type of people. Yeah. We can get on the same page. You'll understand me. I'll understand you. Yeah. And like, that's good. Some people just need everything to be so perfect for them. They need everything to be like this type of person, and they don't understand my type of humor. It's like, well, then play around with it. Like,
that's one thing that you do very well too. Like, in terms of like playing around with it, like, I saw that you had like this natural like presence in front of the mic in regards to like creating certain characters, like holding the mic away and talking like that vato, you get me? Yeah. And like, those are things that you just don't, at least I didn't see. I mean, I haven't been to much comedy shows out here, but that's not what I've been seeing. You know what I mean? People are just being their same person, telling the same joke, holding the mic at the same fucking spot.
This is the part where I'll tell you that the name of your pod is literally what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm literally copying and stealing.
Let's get into that.
And I'm literally like anything right now that I look at that I go like, it's some shit that I feel like maybe I do well. Mm-hmm. I'll tell you right now, I've watched a lot of Andrew Schultz.
Bro,
I've watched a lot of Schultz for the last like 10 years, even before I was doing stand-up. And watching Schultz and then realizing, because I was such a fan of his and really studying him a little bit, I never studied a lot of comedians when I was younger because I was just watching it because it was funny. Yeah. Then I started watching Andrew and realizing that there's a method to things, and there's pulling away certain movements, certain things you say, changing your tone, like how you address things, how you deal with like discomfort. Mm-hmm. And I just watched him a lot, and then I watch, who does he respect, who does he like. Okay, even if I don't like their comedy, I'll peep, I'll see what's up. Mm-hmm. Kevin Hart. Like, there's certain people that like were people I looked up to in comedy before I did comedy, and then there's the people that when I started doing stand up that I watched them differently, and Schultz is one of them. Like, literally, like down to like the vlog stuff. Yeah, I'm just stealing Schultz's stuff. I'm just stealing, and it's not even stealing. To me, it's not even like
standing on his shoulders. Bro. You're pushing it further.
And he's saying, I'm telling you how to do this shit. Yeah, I'm telling you, this is the way I did it. Take what you want, leave what you don't. But it's free game.
Because you know that he's standing on someone else's shoulders.
And he knows that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He knows that. Like, you know, I look at somebody like Andrew and like his demeanor on stage, and sometimes the attitude with which he works. Like, I love Bill Burr. There's a lot of Bill Burr and Andrew Schultz. Yeah. There's a lot of crossover between the two of them. And there's a lot of, I mean, he loves Patrice O'Neal. There's a lot of Patrice too. Like, everyone has their influences, but like, even like moving the mic, talking, changing things up, saying things watching Schultz, I was like, bro, this guy is like, he's giving people levels and layers. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people go on stage and for 15, 20, 30 minutes, they are flat. Yeah. You know, they are who they are. And every now and again, they might throw an inflection or some shit. But like, for me, I think it's watching Schultz, and it's loving like hip hop, R&B, loving music, like that there's a cadence and a flow and a bounce to things. Yep. That if you can figure that out and get in the pocket and you can be in tune, people will just want to listen to you. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't have that thing. They don't have that like rhythm or flow to their shit. Yep. But Schultz has that. Mm-hmm. Even as a white boy, that people be like, because he's from the city, and he grew up around, and he's of that. You know, he's a cut of that from that cloth. Like, so yeah, man. A lot of that stuff, I would say the last like, I've had people tell me too that like we'll be watching something with Schultz, and they'll look at me and they'll be like, yeah, I kind of see it now. I kind of see how you're kind of like, I'm like, yeah, 100%. And like, it's definitely different subjects, different topics. He's definitely a lot more controversial and says a lot of crazy shit.
Bro,
but
he be pushing it.
Yeah.
But
But he pushes me to like step out a little bit. And yeah, man, I have honestly, man, that dude, I copy so much stuff from that guy, man. Like, he used to do vlogs that was called Dropping In.
I don't think I've ever seen his vlogs, bro.
Dude, so if you go to his YouTube channel, he's got this thing called Dropping In. And the idea of it, and this is so crazy about everybody does this. And this, when you told me the concept of the pod, I was like, this is so fire, because literally I'm looking at Andrew and I'm trying to steal things from Andrew, right? Mm-hmm. And Andrew made a vlog for when he'd go on the road. It was called Dropping In, and it would be dropping in whatever, dropping in Louisville, whatever city he was in, right? The only reason he did it was because he really was into Bourdain, the dude who passed away. He used to have his travel show or whatever, where he'd go different places and eat food. And Schultz loved that guy and loved his concept of when he'd go places and film himself in these different cultures and different environments. So he was like, I want to do that with stand-up.
Yeah.
So he takes that idea and he turns it into his own. Yeah. And he's doing, I mean, people do vlogs. Vlogs aren't some crazy thing, but he's taking, that's where he got his inspiration from, right? And he's doing that. And then you look at Schultz and you go, okay, well, he's putting out clips every week. Mind you, also, Andrew was doing clips every week when Andrew had enough material that he could have made specials, but no one would pick it up. So he had all this material that he could just like burn and didn't matter. So, but he copied Russ, the artist. And what Russ was doing with putting out music every week, and he was like, "I'm gonna do what this guy does with music, with comedy." Bro. I'm taking from a guy who's taking from other, like, and that's my thing. I'm like, what? Everything is up for grabs, bro. Like,
there's no such thing as original idea, bro.
Yeah, like, what are we talking about? Like, when I make a vlog and then I cut up a version to be a reel, right? And I'm using like these transitions that are like ripped paper and all this other bullshit. Like, bro, I'm stealing from like guys who do recaps of nightclub parties.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm taking inspiration from somebody. Mm-hmm. And then it's going into my shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, but yeah, that, like, I'm trying to, did I do the night we were there? I know I'm doing that. I'm doing a thing about like listening to Biggie as a kid. Yeah. Did I do a thing where I literally rap a part of a Biggie? Mm-hmm. All right. So that thing right now where I'm doing that is like a new thing I've been doing. Okay. Like, I've seen other people do versions of that where they sing a certain song and I'm like, okay, like, how do I want to use that type of idea and how does it fit with my material, whatever. And so now, cool, I'm gonna rap part of this Biggie verse. Yeah. And for like, say 75% of the people there, they might not even know the Biggie verse, but for the 25% who do know it, there's probably like another 5% in that's gonna start rapping along. Yeah. That are gonna start vibing, and then the people around them are gonna be like, I feel like a fucking square because I'm not having as much fun as this guy. I should be having fun.
I'm not gonna lie, I got a lot of look backs when I was laughing at you.
Dude, and now the now the shoulders are moving on the old white lady because she feels like she should be having a good time, and you know what I mean? Like, bro, I was watching a set the other day that I did, and I think it's in the vlog. I was talking about dudes acting like they don't like getting their ass licked. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was talking about dudes talking about like, I was like, yo, you don't like, I saw dudes pretending like they don't want their booty holes licked or whatever. And it's funny because when I was watching the set, as I'm saying this stuff, I'm watching the audience because they're in the shot, and there's like older people. I'm like, man, these ladies wouldn't have been laughing at no booty licking material earlier. I got these ladies on board. Now they're down to have fun. Yeah. And even though I'm not something they're used to, they're down to go for the ride because it feels like it should be funny because everyone else is having a good time. Yeah. And that's the part where I realized, like, that comes from, like, growing up, holding court, learning from people. And, like, yeah, comedy-wise, sure, steal from Andrew. But then there's, like, homies I had growing up that are just cool, that are funny. They used to know how to move through a room. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I would say, like, 4 years ago, I didn't even dress how I would dress on stage. And then I started changing how I wanted to dress because I would talk to one of my boys when I'd go home. And he's like a big sneakerhead. And he's like the flyest dude I ever known. My whole life, he'd been just fly. Since I known him in kindergarten, he'd been fresh, like forever. Yeah. And I'm like, Brian, and I remember we were talking one time. He's like, bro, you need to put that shit on when you go on stage, bro. Yeah. He's like, get right, bro. He's like, bro, yo, you got like, yo, style that shit. Get up there. You know what I mean? Look like you're that Murphy fucking dude, bro. And that's when I realized, I'm like, damn, like that's why Eddie was wearing the leather outfits, and that was just of that time. That was wild fly shit. That was cool. But then you see, like, you know, Martin Lawrence with a leather suit, but it's a different leather suit. Everybody got their leather, you know, their leather fit eventually for a special especially for black comedians. Like, and I look at that and I go like, that my man's just telling me, yo, you gotta like look like a star when you go up there. And we talk about it now because he'll hit me. He'll be like, oh, I see you dressing a little different. I see you when you got a little different fit. You got a little something extra to throw on. Like, and he would tell me, he's like, bro, I'll be watching these comedians, bro. They don't look cool, bro. Yeah. They don't look cool. Like, they're funny, but they don't look cool. Yeah. And that's in my head where I'm like, I steal that from my friends. It's like, I want to look at least kind of, I want you to want to be my friend. Yeah. Like, at the end, I want you to be like, if I'm not friends with this dude, I want to be friends with him. Yeah.
Nah, you know? Honestly, bro, I think you achieved it. Like, that's how I felt watching your show. And it's one of these things where it's like, as I've gotten older and like just I've come to appreciate comedy more than just the moment of just like enjoying yourself and realizing that there's something way more powerful happening at hand when comedians are up there. Like it's one of those things that brings us all together. Like it allows you to laugh at our differences and see the real world that we live in. Like it allows you to be like, haha, like that stereotypical joke was funny. And, you know, it allows you to just like, I don't know, like open the doorway to these more serious conversations. You get me? Like
100%, man.
I feel like if anything, like I fear for anyone who wants to be like a fucking president or in, you know, politics, but I feel like they should be taking comedy class. Like they should be like, it's a way to connect with people.
For sure. And it's tough. No, for sure. And it's tough because sometimes you want to add humor, but you don't know how to do it or you're not comfortable. And then what happens is you make people uncomfortable because that's just not, you're not in your bag. You know what I mean? You're not comfortable and they can tell. But I feel like for me, it's like you have to touch on the darker stuff and you have to try to like talk about stuff that's like less fun. Like I have a lot of personal life stuff going on that I'm not ready to talk about on the pod or even in my vlog yet. But I've started talking about some of it on stage as I'm going through it, and it's been real cathartic for me. It's been real helpful for me. But I find that when I bring it up on stage, people connect because it's relatable to them. Yeah. One thing I'll talk about that I talked about on stage for a while and I didn't was my mom's dad, my abuelo, he passed away last year in September, and we all loved him, but like he was an alcoholic. He was abusive. He was a lot, man. He made a lot of my family move to other states because they didn't want to deal with him. Like all my tias who live in Florida, that was just them running away from my grandfather. Like but we all loved him and we all know what we got from him, you know, and we all appreciated him. But when he passed away, bro, I came back and I was like, oh, I automatically got to talk about this funeral on stage. Yeah. So I literally come back from like the funeral and I'm already doing material about us going through the whole funeral, like what it was like. Yeah. And I'm making jokes about my dead grandfather, bro, in a casket. Yeah. And after the show, people are like, yo, my uncle was just like that, bro. Like, my uncle passed away. He was just like your grandfather, dude. Like, well, I love him. And it's like, yeah, man, I love my grandfather too. Yeah. But it's like, it's real. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's
therapeutic, bro.
Yeah, man. Like, it's good for me. It's good for other people because you don't know what people are going to connect with, man. Like, so stuff that could be traumatic or sad, bro, it's not always just that. And I think that's why comedians, like, they got to tap into it. Yeah. Otherwise, you're boring, bro. Yeah. You got to get into some real shit. Like you can't. It can't all be like. You know how I loved growing up. You ever watch any of John Leguizamo's one man shows? Yeah,
John Leguizamo was my guy, bro.
My man. He gets a little wacky now. He gets a little.
Yeah. I think about the last time I liked him as a kid was when he was playing the voice of the fucking sloth from fucking Ice Age.
Facts. Yeah. I love, but he used to have these one man shows, bro, that he would do in like theaters in New York. Mm-hmm.
He's a big theater cat, right?
Yeah. He had a one man show called Freak, and it was one of the first ones I ever saw, bro. And he was dancing, he was singing, he was playing every character, he was doing these act outs, and he was like sweating on stage, and it was just like I was watching this guy, and I'm like, bro, he's talking about some of the saddest shit in his life, and it's so funny. Yeah, he's talking about his dad beating his mom's ass. Yeah. And he's just like the way he says his mom would say Fausto, like it's like I'm like, bro, it's so funny. Like, why is this funny? Yeah. And so, yeah, I love that shit. And I think that's where I get it from. Like, I wanna touch on that more real stuff because I think that's like I think that's like the heart of stuff, man. People feel it. Yeah. It's cool to talk about topical stuff or like current events, but bro, like it can't all be like Lizzo jokes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, it's funny. Like, all right, cool. We'll talk about Lizzo today. Oh, yeah, dude, the hurricane. I do it too, bro. You got to get clips sometimes.
That hurricane wasn't shit. I'm sorry.
Bro.
That shit was sad, bro.
Hey, bro.
We had our baby shower doing that shit, and I was like, what the fuck? Like,
Bro,
Well,
nah,
it
New
was
York,
not that serious.
Listen, bro, you've been through real hurricanes.
Yeah, I know. I've been through people fucking standing still trying to take one step forward and shit. Fighting umbrellas and shit.
Were you still in New York when Hurricane Sandy went through there?
No, I was in college at that time.
I bet.
Yeah.
Bro.
But I had one of my buddies, he was from fucking Far Rockaway, and they got fucking flooded, bro. That shit was serious.
It's crazy. Wild. People don't realize that, though. Like, out here, like, people be like, they don't understand that, like, hey, bro, every year in the summer, you go, oh, hurricanes or nah. Yeah. And then in the winter, you go, blizzards or nah. Yeah. And that's just, like, a thing you deal with. And, like, maybe you get lucky for a couple years and nothing weird happens. But every now and again, you're going to be in 10 feet of snow, or your whole crib's going to get flooded, or you're not going to be able to go to that bodega you like anymore because it's a river. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that shit is real.
Like, I remember the blackout when everybody fucking was playing hide and go seek in the fucking projects. Shit is just fucking. I was actually I was getting ready to go on a flight to Puerto Rico, my first trip to Puerto Rico, and I remember we were walking, like, I think it was JFK, and like, we walked down the hallway and like they were doing construction. We turned the hallway and some movie shit happened, bro. Like, literally, as soon as we turned, the lights turned off one by one and they made that noise. Like, doom, 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 doom. I was like, what the fuck,
get
bro?
Me out of there, bro.
I ended up sleeping on the baggage claim terminal. Woke up to that shit turning, spinning me in circles and shit. No.
Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like anything that got horror movie energy. Anything that got horror movie energy. That's one thing I really like about getting old, yo, is that I can be honest about who I am as a person. Yeah. That's like the most fun part about being, like, people who are young and who are themselves. Yeah. And they have boundaries and they say no to things and they just, like, that's so cool. Because growing up, you had to lie and pretend. Like I had to lie and go to Six Flags. I don't want to get on these roller coasters. They make me feel sick. I don't like this. This is not fun for me. I get why you like it, but I don't like it. But like, you know, but I'm 18 and this girlfriend I got wants to go. So now I got to act like I want to get on this ride and I'm not a bitch. But like, I'm a bitch. I don't want to get on this ride. Why am I on this? I don't want to be on this. I don't want to be here. I don't want to do this. Like, and now it's so cool when I talk to people and they be like, oh, like they'll tell me about a horror movie they like, and I could just be like, oh yeah, I don't fuck with horror movies.
Bro,
and they'd be like, yeah,
some of them be funny. They'd be
like, yo,
fuck,
you're scared. I'm like, it's not that I'm scared. I'm like, I'll watch some. I'm down. I'm just letting you know, if you think you're getting into a situation where I'm gonna be your buddy pal, we gonna watch all these scary movies. Yeah. We not finna watch these scary movies together.
Some of these
I'm sure they are.
Fucking hilarious.
I'm sure they are, but I'm glad I get to just be a bitch about it. And just, my mom loves scary movies. I'd be like, hey, Mom, you tell me how it was. Like, listen, I love that I can just be like, hey, I'm not into that. Yeah. I don't want to do that. Yeah. And I like that. Because before I used to, like, you just lie for friends you want to get, for girls you want to talk to, you just lie because you just want it to go good. And you just give up a piece of yourself. You know what I mean? You just give up a piece of yourself because they never told us they told you could just say no, but it was for drugs. They didn't tell you, they didn't tell you that it was for like,
it was just for drugs.
It was for movies too. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know I could just look at you and be like, no, I don't want to see, or like, oh, dude, or not being embarrassed to just tell when somebody tries to make a quote of a show I didn't see before. Yeah. I don't got to do that thing where you be like, yeah. No. Have I seen The Office? Yeah. Have I seen every episode like you? Nah. No. Do I know every word? No, I don't. I'm sorry.
How I am with this motherfucker.
Bro, I don't.
I don't watch that.
I respect it though. I get it. People, now I just love that I could be like, nah, I don't even know. Like, I remember the other day, one of my friends was telling me how like they asked me what my favorite comedy was, and I was like, Rush Hour. Great. 1 or 2. I love both Rush Hour movies. Yeah. It's just to me.
Does 3 not exist?
I just like 3 is no, 3 doesn't exist. We pretend 3 didn't happen. I'm not gonna let them do that to my boys.
This guy gives me shit because I'm a big fan of Home Alone 3.
Oh, that's crazy. I got it. Well, hey man, it's been a great pod, man. It's been a pleasure being here. I really want to say thanks for having me, Chris. It was really cool, man. This is a good time, but you just said Home Alone 3, and I gotta violate.
They don't have to be in New York. Fuck Macaulay.
Bro, Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2, bro.
They were good.
Home Alone 3. That's the one with the kid with the bowl cut.
Yeah.
And they had the little robotic joint with the
it was kind of like Jason Bourne-ish vibe.
I respect it, but no, we're not doing that. We can't do it. We can't. But I like that you could. But I like that you could be
thought.
honest though.
Bro,
Like, I like that.
love that shit.
See,
bro.
that's good. I don't like Rush Hour 3. I act like it don't exist. If somebody likes it, you know, God bless. Like that's your choice. You know what I mean? And I'm not here to yuck your yum or whatever. But like, I can't do it. And man, I said Rush Hour, and then she goes, she was like, oh, like I'm watching one of my favorite movies. She's like, Forgetting Sarah Marshall. And I literally got to. It was so liberating to be like. Yeah, I've never seen that movie.
Bro, you gotta watch that movie.
I'm sure I do.
It's
I believe
really
it.
fucking
A
funny.
lot of people who I trust tell me it's funny. There's a lot of actors in it who I think are funny people. I'm sure it's funny. But I'm so glad I don't have to lie and pretend that I seen it. I just don't remember it.
Yeah.
No. There's certain movies you can't lie like that. Where you can't be like, yeah, nah, I seen it one time a long time ago. I just really don't remember how the shit goes. Like, you used to have to do that. Yeah. Now you could just be honest. Mm-hmm. And I like, that's something that I really like about this generation is that people just be like, nah, I don't know anything about that. Good. Let's stop lying. Yeah. Let's stop showing for who? Who we lying for? For what? To get some ass? For what? You're not even good at sex. Don't even just you're not even good at sex. It's gonna be bad regardless. At least have it be bad with someone with like interests. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Why are you wasting this woman's time? Mm-hmm. Do something else. Or man's. Whatever you're into. I don't you know what I mean? No. Whatever. Yeah, man. Rush Hour 1 and 2 though, classics.
Yes.
I'm gonna let you. We still gonna be friends about the Home Alone 3 thing. Home Alone 2 goes crazy though. Home Alone 2 goes crazy.
Yeah.
That's the man. I watch Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 every Christmas season.
Yeah.
It's mandatory. I'm gonna watch Home Alone 3 this year just for you.
Do it.
And we're gonna see.
It. Just give it a second shot.
I mean,
do you smoke by chance or no?
I don't smoke, but I'm willing to eat an edible and watch it. I'll say that.
Fuck you, Zeke.
Yo, man. I'm gonna watch it though. I'm gonna give it a shot, man. But I watch Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2 every holiday season. It's like a go-to. Me and my family will watch it. Like even
are you a Ants or fucking a Bug's Life kid?
I'm trying to think back. See, I feel like I remember Ants more than A Bug's Life.
Ants was real, bro. They had fucking that shit was real life.
Because Ants like the graphics on it wasn't even good like that. Yet. Yeah. Like yeah. That's another thing I get into. Like I'm telling you, I like that I get to be honest on this pod. This is a great thing for me to get off my chest. I used to get into it when I was working at one of my so we do training for the RAs. A lot of times you theme it. Mm-hmm. And so one time we themed it like it was Pixar themed, right? And I had to explain to like these kids like I had never at this time since I've seen it, but I had never seen Finding Nemo.
Okay.
I had never seen it. There was a gasp.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? There's 4 people in this room.
It felt like escape.
Listen, when I tell you, I've since seen it for sure. But at the time, I had never watched it. Yeah. And like these students shamed me, bro. Damn. They were like, how have you never seen And I literally was like, yo, get on your phone. What year did Finding Nemo come out? And I'm pretty sure I'm still right about this. I might be wrong. We can Google, we can fact check this later. 2003.
Okay.
I was in the 10th grade.
Okay.
In high school. 50 Cent. This is Get Rich or Die Trying. Peak 50 Cent. You think I give a fuck about a CGI fish who can't find his daddy or whatever? Why do I care? What? Do you know what it feels like to hit play on Get Rich or Die Trying and hear the change fall and then have it just go right into like, what up, blood? What up, cut? Like, I don't give a shit about that. Bro, you crazy, bro? I gotta make it to heaven for going through hell. You know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta make it there. Come on, bro. Listen, bro. I'm trying to sing Many Men. Nobody wants me dead. I'm trying to sing Many Men at the top of my lungs. No one's ever wanted me gone from this earth. Everyone's actually been really happy that I'm here. But 50 Cent's out, I'm a thug right now, bro. You think I give a shit about, bro? Come on, man. 2003? You think I give a shit? You know what kind of music came out in 2003 for me to be worried about Finding Nemo, bro? College Dropout.
Yeah.
Get Rich. Come on, bro. I don't got time for this. Yeah. They were like, oh, I can't believe I was into different things at this time, bro. Yeah. I was into being a thug at this point. I was wearing do-rags for no reason. No waves were happening. Just wanted to have a do-rag on with my fitted. You understand me? With the cape flowing. You understand me? Oh, come on, man. With a button up like I'm Jay-Z in the PSA video. White Forces, big-ass jeans, big-ass button up. Yankee fitted. What's up? Dude, come on, dude. think I'm watching Finding Nemo. So yeah, when I like that now, I can just be honest. Like I ain't seen that. I didn't watch this. Like I haven't seen the Barbie movie yet.
Yeah, neither have I.
People be on me about you haven't seen the Barbie. I'm like, okay, haven't seen the Barbie movie. Didn't go watch Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
I probably should have. Maybe I should have went to watch it. Maybe I should have. I didn't.
Yeah.
No, you know what I mean. I'm even at the point now where I like that I'm getting to be honest when I don't want to go watch the superhero movies right away. Yeah. Because I was like,
fan.
Listen, I mess with the MCU. I'm a big Marvel Cinematic guy, and I'll go. I'll watch it. Secret Invasion was coming out. I was watching all the eps. I was into it.
Yeah.
DC, I don't play with them a lot sometimes. And so I'm gonna be honest. The Flash came out, and I heard it was doo doo, and I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
And I waited to watch that on HBO Max because I was like, or just Max or whatever they call it now. Everything got to change names all the time. Like, why can't we just like
Max?
I don't get it. You know, HBO is such a strong brand,
right?
To just go, we're just gonna get rid of it. We're just gonna call it Max, so you could put CNN on it. And I'm so like, who cares? Like, just leave it HBO Max. Why are we doing? But I watched The Flash the other day by myself, and when I tell you, I watched the first half of it before I went to a show and thought it was really bad, and then I left and I went to go do my show, and I had an okay set, and then when I came back, I watched the second half of the movie while I was eating McDonald's, and I thought that just by coming home and being tired that the second half of the movie would be good. That movie still sucked. Either way. Trash. But I liked it. I liked it. I could just be like, I'm not watching it. I'm gonna wait till it comes out.
Bro, it was sad. The special effects and that shit. It was.
They said it was on purpose.
PS2 graphics.
They said it was on purpose. That's why they did it like that. I don't believe it. But see, here's the thing. I would have got pressured like even like a year ago.
Yeah.
I'm liberated as a person. I love this about myself. Dude, a year, I would have been like, I gotta go see The Flash. Even if they're saying it's garbage, I gotta go see it. Buddy with a little mic on TikTok told me, hey, man.
Buddy with a little mic.
Straw Hat Goofy with a little mic was like, I gotta tell you about this one. They're paying you, bro. Yeah. I don't trust you no more. I don't trust these influencers no more, bro. These guys used to have opinions. Now they get they go to the premieres, they're on the red carpet.
Yeah.
You're a company man. I don't trust you no more. Get out of here, bro.
Company
man with a little microphone. Hey guys, I got a lav mic. I don't want to put on my lapel. Like, I did a video once where I held the mic and I was making a joke about how I wanted to be one of these TikTok guys with a little mic, and then somebody was like, "It's a lapel mic. It goes on your." I'm like, "Hey, dum. I know what it is. This is satire right now. I'm making fun of dudes."
Oh shit.
Yeah, man. Hell no. I mess with superheroes though. But yeah, man, I like that I can just say no. I don't like that no more. I don't do that. I don't know things. Like today, if you say something else on this pod and I don't know what you're talking about, I'm gonna look you in the face and be like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I used to just lie, bro. I used to be like, yeah. And as bad is it if you're like likable enough, you can just nod your head and just like say yes to things, and people will be like, yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. He doesn't. He has no idea. He doesn't know anything.
Nah, I've always been like can you like spell that for me? Like,
I like,
can
bro.
you reuse that? What does that mean?
I got a lot of respect for you. I'm too insecure for all that.
Yeah.
My insecurity just start creeping up, bro.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I'll be like, oh man.
Yeah, there's certain times where you can let it like rock, where you just like, all right, I know I'm not gonna like know this person forever, so like we could just let this shit rock,
bro.
But, like,
I be trying, man. It's an interesting thing. I deal with that a lot with comedians now, because people know I do stand up. They'll want to ask me like who I think is funny, and I don't even like telling them who I think is funny, because this is like, what if they're not your cup of tea or whatever?
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of people like you can't say Dave Chappelle's good anymore, because everyone just hates they just hate Dave or whatever, and I'm like, okay. But like he's still, even if you don't like him now, he's still one of the best comedians that's ever breathed.
He put fucking skits on the map.
He's
bro.
amazing.
Like,
He's Dave Chappelle, bro. Every special from here on out could be garbage, and he's competing against himself.
Yeah,
you know how good at something you have to be for them to you to you.
For real.
You know how hard it is to be like, hey man, like even in a podcast space, right? You could be like, I hate Joe Budden, right? But when you talk about podcasts, you just compare him to his podcast before the podcast he has now.
Yeah.
You go, oh, what do I think about Joe Budden? Well, I kind of like the other two guys better. Or no, I like these new group of 9 people he's got on his show now.
Yeah.
But you're only comparing him to him. You're not talking about nobody else. It's him with him. Even if you don't like him, he figured out what he does, and it's his thing.
It took me a minute to realize that Joe Budden was like in the podcast. Like honestly, I never really followed him like that, but like to me, it was just like the ones who put podcasting on the map were just fucking Joe Rogan.
Yeah, like, that's the thing. People hate Joe Rogan too.
Yeah, because he has a lot of fucking power now, bro.
Yeah,
like
man, people don't like him.
He's out here fucking booked out like 2 years in advance if you want to be on his fucking show.
And it holds a lot of weight. That helped Andrew. That helped Schultz get really big. was being on Rogan. But like, when people ask me about comedians,
how do you feel about Brendan Schaub?
yo, dude, so I'm gonna tell you this right now.
That man gets so much
bro.
fucking
I've
hate.
I've not been on a ton of podcasts. The last 2 pods I've been on,
Yeah.
Brendan Schaub has come up both times because every time, like literally the last pod I was on, my boy Jonah goes, hey bro, like he asked me this question. He goes, I'm curious, like who's a comedian that's famous that you just know you're better than them, and why is it Brendan Schaub? Like that was how he asked me the fucking question,
That's
bro.
Fucked up.
And his name is crazy. Brendan Schaub. People don't like him for different reasons. I've met Brendan one time.
Yeah.
When I was a door guy in the Comedy Store in La Jolla, Brendan Schaub was headlining. Every single show was sold out. This was like 2 years ago, so before he had his little dip in popularity, when he was like peak, real famous Brendan Schaub. He came to the Comedy Store in La Jolla. It was a Thursday night, the first show. I'm working popcorn. I'm chilling. I'm doing my thing. He brings a bunch of openers with him because he knows he's not like the strongest. He's not dumb. Yeah. So he brings pretty good openers with him to make sure the show is good.
That's dope.
Right?
That's
and it's sold out. We're in the Comedy Store in La Jolla. It's 200 people, sold out. There's no seats left, whatever. It's a busy night. He comes by the popcorn machine to hang out. I'm like, I was like, Brendan, you want a popcorn? He's like, yeah, I'll take a popcorn. I had just watched him on Flagrant on Schultz Pod, and he was talking about how some comedy club made them let one of the openers who works at the club like open, and that guy bombed, and they had like a whole like laugh about how that's why they bring their own guys and yada yada yada. And so I told Brendan, I was like, yeah, usually one of the door guys we get to go up, but because you got all your own guys, I was like, none of us are going up tonight. I was like, but also I was stressed coming to work today because I was worried if I bomb, next time you're on the show with Schultz, you're gonna bring up how you were in La Jolla this one time, and some dude who makes popcorn was garbage, bro. He's so bad or whatever. And then we just started like kind of chopping it up, and he just took a liking to me, and he literally was like, yo, bro, you want to go up and do 5? Like, you want to go do some time? And so he literally let me go and get 5 minutes on his show. Like, his host was up there.
That's fucking dope.
He had them go up and give like a piece of paper with my name on it, and just the dude was like, I don't even know who this guy is, but we're gonna put him on stage right now.
Yeah.
And so that's so I'm very complimentary of Schaub as a person.
Yeah.
Because he was nice to me in real life.
Yeah. Now, I've heard only good things about him. Like, we know some people who know him and are, like, close with him.
Yeah.
Man, he's out here doing his thing, man.
He's
like,
just trying.
He's out. God damn.
No, I'm saying still, but he's trying, like, in real life. Like, I mean, he's trying. People act like he's not trying to be a good, like, he's trying to be a good comedian, bro. Like, like, literally trying.
Yeah.
And that's what blows my mind. It's like, he's not, like, sure, he's famous, but people act like he's just, like, he's not mailing in. This guy's really trying. Like, let him do his thing, bro. Like, people just haters, bro. So when you say you like somebody, bro, like that's what happens. Like, even if you like Brendan Schaub or you like whoever, like people really will just come for you.
Yeah.
I get a lot of flack on like people like Andrew, but like I have like a thing, and I feel like I brought up Schultz like a million times already, but like it's because to me, whenever I make it, I want to be like him in terms of how he deals with people. Because I met Schultz, he was on Guy Code. He wasn't super famous yet. I was in Rhode Island. I hadn't done stand-up yet. He was going to do a casino in Connecticut. And I tweeted him. I was like, thinking about going to see Schultz from Guy Code. I don't know if he's nice like that. I don't know if I should go to the show.
Yeah.
I tweeted that, and I tagged him in it. I mentioned him. And he tweeted me back, and he was like, come to the show. He's like, it's going to be a good show. And so I was like, that's bet. Love. So then so I go to the show or whatever. And then
that's before bots, too, right?
Yeah, it's before bots. It's really it. So I go to the show, and afterwards, we're like saying what's up or whatever. I dap him up, and I'm like, hey, bro, I tweeted you about how I wanted to see if you was funny. I know you from Guy Code. And he's like, yeah, dude, I told you to come through. You came through. He's like, I appreciate you, bro. I was like, thank you, man. Whatever. And then we would DM on Twitter. We would talk and shit. And I was telling him, I'm thinking about getting into comedy, whatever. And he would just be like, bro, just dive in, bro. Just jump in head first and just try and just don't quit. And you'll be all right. Just keep at it. And then we would DM on Instagram and stuff. And it got to the point where, like, when he would come to San Diego, I'd like post about it. He would reshare my stuff. Yeah. And then I was telling my wife at the time, I'm like, yo, like, she was like, you're really, like, you're not, I don't think he really knows you, babe. Like, you guys are whatever. Like, she's like, he's just being nice because the internet, you know what I mean? And I was like, I get it. And so we get to the club, we go to the show. And then after the show, I go up to take pictures with him. This is at the American Comedy Company. I walk on the stage. I give the dude who's working my phone to take the picture. And as soon as I look at Andrew and he looks at me, he literally goes, Rui, what's good, bro? And gives me like a hug. And I'm like,
sick.
She was like, damn, like you guys, like he really knows you, like, you know what I mean? So like, and then after that, she kind of realized like why like I support him so much is because like he to this day still we DM like all the time. And like one time I did try to finesse my way to open for him once, like at a show in Connecticut, but the dude who books it knows me, and he was like, I'm not giving you a guest spot. You're not. And Andrew was like, what's the beef? He's like, I was like, nah, he wants me to earn my stripes. And Andrew was like, I get it. It is what it is. He's like, if he would have been cool with it, I would have been cool with it. But if he's saying no, that's their club. You know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, no, it's all good. And so from then, like me and Andrew just always keep up. Like it's like crazy. Like it's brief interactions, but I'm like, this dude is at the peak of how big he's gonna get. Like when he sold out Radio City Music Hall, I posted it on my Instagram and I tagged him and he reshared it and he hit me back and he's like, dude, this is so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But it's like that. Me and him used to talk like, when's merch dropping? Like and like, so he'll reshare me and some people are like, damn, like, do you actually know him? I'm like, I don't know if I act like we know each other. Like, so to me, I want to have a point in time where like, there's somebody who meets me before I'm like anything and like, I can keep in touch with them for like the long run, you know what I mean? And I have a couple people in San Diego who like they've been going to shows and like shout out to my guy Luis, man. He met me when I opened for somebody else and he goes to my shows. He shares all my stuff on IG. Like he always DMs me. Like people like that, it's like, bro, like I really can't wait to be in a position where like it'll be cool for them to tell somebody like, oh, I know him.
Best believe I'm just gonna be like, I know.
Hey,
like,
man,
you get me? Like,
I just think that's super cool, man. Like the way Andrew moved and the way he treated me as a fan, and then like
that's real.
Like
that's
he's
real.
like a good dude, bro. Like, and that's the way I want to move. But like, and I look at somebody like Brendan, like Shaw, like them two guys have been cool. So I automatically go. It's like when your friend knows somebody else and you trust your friend, you just go, all right,
yeah,
like it's cool. This dude can't be that bad, you know. So. But yeah, sometimes you say comedians, bro, and people will be like, ooh, I don't like that guy. Or they want to know your opinion. Everyone's like, what do you think of Matt Rife? Do you like Matt Rife? He's like this really like popular white comic and like people be like hating on him or whatever. And I'm like, bro. I hope everybody gets famous, bro. Yeah. I don't know. I don't got time to be worrying about nobody else.
Yeah, because like I hate that crabs in the bucket mentality.
It's the worst, dude. Everybody like there could be a bunch of cool pods. There could be a bunch of cool rappers. Cool. Everybody could be great.
And there's enough room for us.
There is, dude.
Like having 1 million people like isn't a lot, bro. When you take into like consideration the population.
Oh my.
There's someone for everyone.
My boy. So one of my boys hoping for his name is Zoltan Cassis. He originally started.
That sounds familiar.
Zoltan. He's getting big. He's getting really popular. He just moved to New York City, but he was he grew up in SD and he was a San Diego comic. I opened for him a lot. He has a lot of like his YouTube specials that he put out himself have millions of views. He has a bunch of he has a lot of content out and he's doing really good and he's touring and stuff.
I feel like if I seen his face, like I've seen him before.
He's hilarious. And like I opened for him and we did a show together. And we were talking about the idea of like being scared to post material because like somebody like people are gonna see it and then they're gonna come to a show and they're gonna know. And he looked at me. We were in the green room and he goes, Rui. He's like, if I put out a clip and 1 million people watch it, right? And we're at this comedy club tonight, and this comedy club's hold 300 people, and there's 275 people in there. Do you know the audacity you have to think that any of those 275 people were one of the 1 million people who actually watched it? Yeah. Do you know how many people 1 million people is, bro? He's like, you think that 275 is 100%. They all heard this already. They probably they don't even know it's up. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you start thinking like, because 1 million people this or this many people saw this, like it means everybody. No, people don't know. There's people who have so many followers that no one's ever heard of. Yep. There's random artists on TikTok that I like.
Rare. It's like Kevin Hart is one of those like rare.
He's a mega star. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know who Kevin Hart is. You know who The Rock is. Yep. You know who certain people are. But there's plenty of acts in any field, any genre that people don't know who they.
I feel like Schultz is about to get to that level.
Yeah, I think he's getting close. I think he's at a point where some people start going like, oh, yeah. And like in different circles,
he's
go
been
like.
in a couple of movies as of late.
Yeah.
Pushing the limits.
He's definitely getting a little bit bigger for sure, where people are like, oh, like I think I know who this guy is. Like a lot of people know who like Sebastian Maniscalco is now. Like, so like he's this comic who's like, he seems to be really famous, but like I just said his name, you don't even know who he is. Yeah. And he's like one of the most famous comedians right now. He's like one of the top earning comics that exists.
I was about to say, fucking what's his name? The guy, what's that Christmas movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger? Sinbad. Is that
where they're looking for
the action figure?
Yeah. Turbo Man.
Yeah, Turbo Man.
Yeah. Looking for Turbo Man. Hell yeah. Yo, there's this thing. Have you ever heard of this? I don't know what it's called, but like where people like everybody thinks they remember something happening, but it never really happened. I forget what that's called.
Fucking
but there's a thing with that with there's a thing like that with Sinbad where everybody thinks there's a movie that exists where Sinbad played a genie.
I know what the fuck you're talking about.
And everybody
bro.
says he really was.
What the fuck you're
but yo,
about.
but there is no movie, bro, and he wasn't a genie in anything. I can't find it. I've looked.
I know.
But everybody, but when you say
the Mandela effect.
Yes, but when you say it, you automatically, at least for me, I envisioned him in a blue genie outfit for some reason. It never happened. It didn't exist. He played Secret Service one time where there was a kid that he was trying to keep safe. I saw that movie. You know what I mean?
I remember. Yeah, I remember that one.
Remember Disney movies, man? Disney movies were a thing. Remember trying to be like a hood kid, but like pretend you didn't fuck with the Disney movies? Being a hood kid
I didn't fuck with this.
God bless, bro.
I like the cartoons, like all the real life action shit.
Bro, man.
That shit I was a Courage the Cowardly Dog. Johnny Bravo. That man was a menace
Johnny Bravo,
to society,
yeah. Johnny
bro.
Bravo.
He
That's
created so much.
Kids should not be watching Johnny Bravo.
That
shit, bro. Johnny Bravo was that shit. Ed and Eddie.
Those guys were fucking scheming.
Yeah, just a bunch of crackheads, just 3 North Park crackheads running around, just like. That shit is crazy. I said that shit on stage the other day, and it made me laugh. I think I put it in the vlog this week where I was like, I don't get North Park as a neighborhood in San Diego, because it just looks like the gentrification's not finished. like they started it, but it's like not done. It's like you'll see like a crackhead roller skate by in Daisy Dukes, and like a white couple on a tandem bike, all going by a check cashing place, and you're like, oh, this place is still dangerous. Like, there's a vegan coffee shop, but this place is, you could die here still, maybe.
Fucking communal cafe.
Yeah,
Shout out to different. That's my shit, bro.
Yeah, man. Ed and Eddie, man. There was some crackheads though on TV. Was like that was wild shit. Yeah, I used to pretend, man. There was a movie, a Disney movie that was about roller skating called Brink. And I'll tell you right now, I'm embarrassed to know that I know that movie, but I know that movie. And then them kids was roller skate. It was competitive rollerblading or some shit like that. They was doing tricks on a half pipe. I think because the X Games was popping, I thought it was cool for a quick second. It was terrible. I watched that shit. That's like that. Like I know more NSYNC songs than I should know.
Oh, I was, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I wanted to be them growing up. I remember that.
But we had to act like it wasn't the truth.
Yeah.
I got into arguments about that in middle school as a kid.
Bro, it's some things that you talk about. I definitely want to be aware of time, but like when you were talking about, Latinos and colorism and like,
yeah. Let's get into the real shit.
There's this, I don't know if he's a comedian or an actor. I guess he's an actor. But he brought up like this like serious topic where like as Latinos, like it's kind of like we're in this spot where like we can kind of choose what we get depicted as. And it's just like, I've always lived in this spot of just like code switching, like knowing that I have to act a certain way to, get where I want to go. But like, it's just been a constant battle because like, I don't know. I feel like, especially after I went to college and coming back to New York, like just things didn't feel the same. You know what I mean? Like there were things that I learned in college going away that like, I don't have to be mad all the time. I don't have to fucking walk around with a mean mug all the time. Like it's just life isn't about, it's about how you react to these things. You get me? I don't know. I just wonder like, how does that sit with you in terms of like your identity? Because like when you talk in front of these crowds, like you said, like you can be in front of anyone and you find a connection. And that's not easy for people, bro. Some people feel like if they're not represented in the audience, like I can see it in their face that like they don't feel okay to say these certain jokes. Whereas like you on stage, like you can say your life story and you can say it in a manner where it's just like, doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, it hits.
You're going to get it, man. Like I did a show. I was in, where were we in Oregon? Damn, Bend, Oregon. I went up to Bend, Oregon with my boy Mal, who's a black comedian. He's half black, half Asian. Yeah. And we went up and he was headlining. I was featuring. There was not a Latino in the room. Yeah. It was a brewery full of white people.
Yeah.
I did my same jokes I was doing. I was like, they're gonna figure it out. I'm gonna look them in the eyes. They're gonna figure me out. I'm gonna figure them out, and we're gonna do the jokes. But I'm not gonna change too much. I might approach things a little differently or figure out ways to make them understand maybe or explain more. But they're gonna figure it out. But I think for me, like, I still want to be true to myself in a way. Like, I think that it's something I've dealt with in my day job when I was going into higher ed, where like I started realizing I get passed up for things because I swear too much or I don't.
Now you got fucking motherfuckers like Gary V. Fucking
changing everything. How about like, why does that matter? Why does it matter if you say fuck? Why does it matter if you say shit?
Like for me, we're about to raise this child. Like, I don't care if my child curses as long as it's not out of hate. Like, if he eats a slice of pizza, it's like, damn, that's fucking good. Like, it is fucking good. Like,
I think language is crazy. Like, it's like this stuff you like. I think it's all about, like you said, like the intent. What's behind you? Like, what's the feeling you have? Like, they're just words, bro. Like, who, like, and I think for me, I would realize that in my day job, where it was like I'm getting passed up for opportunities. I'm watching people who are, in my opinion, not as skilled as me, not as dynamic as me, and honestly, like, high key, are very boring and bland people. But they're getting things because they're not a risk. They're safe. They're easy. And it used to bother me, man, like a lot. And I started realizing that you just have to be able to like find the balance for yourself of like what's you, what's like appropriate for the space, and how do you blend the two things or whatever, so that you don't have to like full on put yourself away, like take yourself and put yourself away like in a bag somewhere and like wait till you get out of work to breathe again, But for me, man, like, I think it's tough too, because like I can very much relate and empathize with you on that. You go to college and you see a different side of things, man. Like, growing up in Rhode Island, it's a very white state, but Providence and Pawtucket and some of the cities that are there that are in the more like center part of the state are very brown. It's very Puerto Rican, Dominican, Black, and then like African American, but also like African, like Liberian, Nigerian, the Asian. It was very a lot of Cambodians, like my schools were very brown, man. When I went to college, like I went to college 15 minutes from where I grew up, 20 minutes from where I grew up. And I got to orientation and I had never seen that many white people in my life. And I'm half white and I never seen this many white people. I'm like, yo, what is...
You consider Portuguese white?
I mean,
they out there, bro. They everything's accepted in
listen, I describe them affectionately as like there's like the dirty whites. There's like there's the off whites. You know what I'm saying? There's the Italians. There's the Portuguese, the Irish. You know what I mean?
Don't call Spaniard.
No.
They'll fucking go for you.
Nah, Spaniards is a whole different, man. Listen, we do a whole podcast on just these old Barcelona ass, Lisbeth, Espanol, all these, you know what I mean? I'm not, those whites. They're very white. It's a little different. But man, I just never seen that many white people. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what is going on here? And I started realizing, like, damn, there's like not a lot of me here. Like, and it like it did open me up, because I realized I could put my guard down. I didn't have to be so worried about like defending myself all the time. But then you go back and when you go home, you got to deal with like the people judging you, feeling like you're different, or you think you're better than me because you left. And like, there's that energy that exists that's tough to reconcile, I think, when you go back, because you're like, yo, I'm still the same person. Like, I was never tough. I was never a thug. You know what I mean? But then you go into these spaces where you're the only brown person, and like you're kind of like naturally expected to be the tough guy. Everybody thinks you're the tough guy. Like, every time I go out to a club, every time we go out, people are like, yo, you got to be ready. I'm like, why I got to be ready? Let Trevor be ready. This dude's 6'4". He's big as shit. He got muscles. He works out every day. No, look at Trevor and Scott. They look like linebackers. Let them fight the bouncers. Also, they're the ones touching all the girls that are getting us in trouble. Like, let them deal with this bullshit. I'm minding my business over here. Like, so yeah, man, it's tough, man. And it's tough because people view you different. That was the part growing up biracial too, man. Like, I never felt Latino enough. I never felt Portuguese enough. I always felt like I was stuck in the middle somewhere. My cousins, even now, bro, to this day, bro, I'll do shows. I did a show in La Jolla. I don't know if you know who Gadiel Del Orbe is.
Honestly, every time he reminds me of my cousins, bro. Reminds me of my family.
So I went to a show at the Comedy Store and Gadiel was on. and he was up earlier in the night, and he was there with a bunch of some of his friends who live in SD, but they're all Dominican. And I'm talking, when I say Dominican, I mean, I'm talking about full. I'm talking, bro, full. Like as soon as you see them, de lo mío, like them, like real Dominicans. And when I tell you, when I tell you, it's cool on stage. Like, say you're Dominican, they get excited, they're pumped. But as soon as we got outside, shout outs to Annie. She knows some shit. She cool as shit. But as soon as I met her, she was like, "You're full Dominican." You're not full Dominican. I was like, nah, I'm not. My dad. She's like, I was like, my dad's Portuguese. She goes, I knew you wasn't full Dominican. Like, you're Dominican, but like, and it's like, yo, bro, they're not trying to make you feel bad, but that shit really,
it hurts.
Yeah, because I'm not like a fucking no sabe kid. Like, I'm not like I can't speak Spanish at all, but like I speak, but I'm not like always confident. Yeah, you know what I mean? And like, but it's interesting because you like I always feel like never enough of one thing or another thing, and.
I don't like, and I want to push the bounds of like how we can be represented.
I also want to, I want to embrace that part of my culture, bro, because like for me, it's like I know that when I make it, it's going to be really cool for people to be like, this dude is like of our culture, even if it's not the exact kind of, you know, vibe I want or whatever, or you know, the humor is not exactly the same kind of way. Like I get it, I'm with you, bro, but like, they're gonna want to see it and be happy about it and embrace it. So I don't want to ignore it either. You know what I'm saying? Because I could definitely pass for like a light skin whatever. Like I could definitely be very racially ambiguous. I've been called fucking Indian. I've had people think I'm Hawaiian. I've had a lot of different things people think I am. But like I want to be very clear. Like I do embrace like especially my Dominican heritage and my Dominican culture. And I embrace my dad's my Portuguese culture as well. I just feel like there's not a lot of Portuguese people out here. So I don't really talk about it. But when I go home, like I have jokes about Portuguese people all the time and Portuguese ladies with mustaches and all that. Like I get into it. Like and people get it. They understand it. You know what I mean? Because that's what's over there. But over here, there's not a lot of Portuguese people. So I don't have the time on stage to be like, oh, by the way, I'm mixed. You know, like I can't wait to do long sets, like an hour, 45 minutes, an hour. Because when I do these longer sets, I can talk about everything I don't have time, bro. If I got 20 minutes, you're gonna get that I'm Dominican and what's going on. I don't have the time right now to break down to you how my dad's Portuguese and what Portuguese people are like and what it was like being mixed. Like when I get on and I'm popping, like I could talk about that stuff. But for now, I only have a certain amount of time. And what do I want to talk about?
Let's get into that. Like let's leave the people off with like, you know, what are you working on right now? Like, where can they find you? Like, what's the next moves?
Yeah, man. I mean, like, obviously my YouTube channel is up there, man. If you just look up my name, Rui Montilla, you're gonna find me. Boom, we're on there. You know what I'm saying? It's on here. That's why y'all got everything set up nice over here. Got the graphics and everything. This is very high quality. Very high quality. I like this. I like this. But yeah, man, the YouTube channel is definitely a good space. I'm posting clips on there. My Instagram, everything is my name. If you just look up Rui Montilla, like that's me on everything. I don't have
one to it. Only one with it.
Yeah, only one with it. Only one with it. You know what I mean? And like I don't have a separate personal. I have a comedy page that I hold the username in case I get so famous that I need like a burner someday. Like I need I need to like go, hey, here's a page that nobody like. I have one tucked away. Like I have a Rui comedy that I own. Like I got that. Yeah. Just like how I own my domain name just to have it. But. Those are like the good ways on social medias to find me, man. Like right now, the big thing is putting out more content, trying to post more reels, more TikToks, short form stuff in terms of the stand-up clips. And then I'm trying to do the vlog as a little more long form. Yeah. And I'm hoping that I can get into, you know, more things. Like I said, like some acting at some point. But right now, my big goal right now is I want to be able to do an hour of material by the end of the year. I really want to do an hour. I feel like that's like a big part for me. Yeah. My comedy anniversary.
Take the Andrew Schultz route, put it out yourself?
Yeah, I think, I don't know if I'd want to put the whole hour because then you got to like restart, but I definitely could see myself putting out like a 30-minute type thing, something shorter. Yeah. But I will say I want to get to that hour. Like my comedy anniversary is in November. It would be 9 years since I first ever did a show. So it was 9 years from my first show I ever did. And I always try to have a show around that time of year to kind of like gauge where I'm at and how much better I've gotten. Yeah. And so I really want to find a way in San Diego to do a show at the end of the year where I can run a whole hour and I could do my hour. I did 45 minutes just the other day, and I know I have more material. So I'm getting close to that hour. So I really want the hour. That's like my next big thing. And then
hopefully from there we're gonna get on the road, man. I'm trying to get on the road with my friends who are touring. I'm trying to get on the road with them and do more shows. I want to expand and get out. I'm gonna be in Texas in October for my birthday. I'm going to Houston. I'm going to Dallas. I'm gonna be at the Improv and
There'll be links to that.
Yeah, for sure, man. If you go to my link tree, I already got the links up. I'll be there. It's actually my birthday too, so I got some homies in Texas, and one of my aunts lives in Texas. All in Houston. I got a couple of friends from college who live in Dallas. I'm gonna be at the Addison Improv, and I'm gonna go open for my boy Zoltan, and it's gonna be a cool experience to be in a different state and do comedy, and that'll be fun. I'm also going back to Rhode Island. I have people, my friends in Rhode Island really it's funny because like I've been doing stand up for 9 years, but I left Rhode Island when I was only a year and a half into comedy. So I might go back every other year or once in a while, and I don't always go back and do shows. So I have so many friends back home that have never seen me do stand up outside of clips. They have no idea.
That'll be nice.
They've never seen me live, so they don't get it. You know what I mean? And that's the one thing I will say before we wrap too is go to live comedy shows. Go to a real show. Go watch live comedy. What you see on your screen and what you hear doesn't translate to the feeling of laughter. It doesn't translate to like the vibrations in the room when things are going great. Like it's a different experience. And when you watch it recorded, if it's done right and recorded at high quality, like specials and stuff, great. But sometimes when we're posting clips and stuff, we're just getting what we can get. You know, like I'm not always getting the best audio on stuff. It's not always a true representation of what it felt like to be there. But if you're in the room, you know what it felt like to be in the room. And so I think go support, live comedy. And if you're in San Diego, there's a lot of places to watch comedy. So just go watch. You never know who you're going to see. I think there's a lot of guys and girls in San Diego right now that are going to be, I think within the next 5 years are going to be people who are going to be household names and be really famous. And I think it's cool to be in early. So I think get in on a ground level, you know what I mean? Because you feel a lot more attached to it.
Yeah. Nah, I couldn't agree more. And honestly, like, I think you're one of them, my G. Like, honestly, like, I feel like, I can't wait to have you back on and be like, remember when we had this conversation?
Hey, I'll be back. Listen, man, I really appreciate people who believe in me, man. I think it's there's a part of being an artist in general that I think there's a lot of insecurities. There's a lot of doubt that goes into your mind, and you have to push it away so you can really just take the leap with it. And I've been close enough to people who they had this dream and now they live that life. Yeah. And I've had enough people that I respect look me in my face, and I can tell that they see me as equal. And that's been like the biggest thing for me to like push to the next level, is that like I got to understand like who I'm trying to keep up with. It's not always just my homies who I do shows with. It's like the next rung up, and how do I get to the next level, and how do I get better? So having people believe in you though is important, because it reminds you when you're on your down days or you're not feeling it, like it really pushes you forward. So man, I tell you seriously, bro, I really appreciate you, dude, because listen, a lot of people don't even tell somebody when they think they're nice, bro. When you DM me to be like, yo, bro, you did your thing at that show, like that shit made my night, bro. I was like, damn, like that, like
bro, you weren't even supposed to be there. Like that was the crazy shit. Like that was that small world shit where it was just like, and we thought you were just there, just chilling. And we were like, wait, you going up? Like that wasn't on the agenda, my guy. And you saved.
I was hyped. They hit me up like, hey, can you come do this show? Somebody dropped out. I was like, fuck yeah, I'll do that show. Yeah. I'll go do that shit and then go to the Madhouse and bomb. That's what happened that night. Yeah. I left there and I went to the Madhouse and I was like, oh, dude, you're not funny. Cool. Like, comedy will humble the shit out of you, bro, real quick. I left that place. I was like cloud 9, bro. I was like outside, car alarms, all the sound goes in the air. Yeah. I was cooking. I was on fire. It was incredible. I got to the Madhouse, dude. Walked in, got on stage. I was like, oh, I don't got it. I was like, these people think I sucked. I wore these Jordans for nothing. So yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you being on. I definitely want to see. I want to find some opportunity to work together on some projects. So
I would love to, man. Seriously,
let's get that going.
Let's do it, man.
That was it for this episode of How to Copy and Steal. Remember, go follow Rui and everything that he does. I'll end it off with what I should have been doing in the first part. If you are interested in starting a show of your own, similar like this, with the graphics, the switching, I don't know if you're going to have the laughter or not. I don't know if you got it like that. But if you want to, bring something to life, hit us up at bookalivestudio.com. Book a discovery call. Looking forward to hearing from you. And with that said, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.